Memories. Memories.
Sitting in a 4v3.
Everfrog Esports trying to find what angle they can, trying to find somebody out of position.
We're gonna go through on this. Oh, what a roll. We're gonna deflect. White gonna go in.
It's going to be a really, really interesting one.
Oh my god. All of this competition could be so damn close, so I cannot wait for us to finally decide who's going to be the champion. We are expecting some chaos, some great moments.
Beast Mode has killed 3. Only gonna really need that rampage, so it's gonna clear it out. Santi gonna get themselves a big old 4K. Oh. Santi's getting rid of 3, clearing out the house.
That is crazy.
Nunji actually kills 3 people.
This team feels entirely different on this faster composition. Now Saga4 is hanging around, getting onto the high ground. Post bomb's gonna stick under Leaky. You're not gonna be able to survive it at the end of the day. Manages to find a 3K.
Rio shoving this Ana into a corner. Woo! One more for the road for Rio.
That is all signs go. Melophobia with 3. Melophobia starting the fight. They'll end the fight. Oh my god. Beagle Bus, they have to play aggressively into this energy. Popping off in a moment where you needed just that. Ruby in that backline. Oh, the flick. Looking for it. Oh my goodness. The 4th one as well. Do they get the ace? They get the ace.
Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours.
All right, everybody, good evening. And it is a beautiful one indeed here, Ray, as we get ready to head into our grand finals in our NA Diamond tier. Our matchup tonight, Death Blossom versus Wawa Gaming, Ray. But before we get into the nitty and the gritty of this grand finals matchup, we have quite a few announcements to make.
Yeah, we will be going over the awards for the NA Diamond tier. Very exciting stuff. So first, we will be going over who has won the best manager for the Diamond division, and we'll be bringing in these players for a quick little chat to have some interviews with them. So the winner for the Diamond manager is going to be Conk from the Diamond Eagles, with Deadly Pants from Wawa Gaming being the runner-up. So congratulations to them both, as we are bringing Conk in now for the interview. Hey Conk, how you doing?
Go Mean Green.
Doing
Am I
pretty
right?
good. Yep, go Mean Green.
Hey.
Yep.
Hey, I mean, along with the manager awards, you have also won the Fish Award for sportsmanship. So congratulations to that as well. How are you feeling about winning both of these awards?
You know, I'm a little shocked. To be fair, I didn't have that much of a season in Diamond tier this go around, but I did have my team that I managed. I'm very, very proud of all of them and what they did throughout the season. And honestly, I very, very am happy to get the manager award and then also the sportsmanship, because I always think of just whenever it comes to being in a position in a tournament, I always want to lead with my best foot forward, I guess you could say, and that lead by example. And I hoped all my players would, show the same amount of sportsmanship to their competitors as I did.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. And then obviously UNT, a lot of teams that were competing in Diamond this year. Just, for a question for you guys, what's the future for the Eagles organization and CGL going forward?
I don't know how much I'm technically allowed to say, but I have been pushing for almost all season to do something we've never done before, and that is run the same roster 2 seasons in a row and pick up more people.
Whoa!
Instead of doing the random teams every semester.
Whoa!
We might see that soon. We might. Hopefully, if everything goes well, we might.
Actually, no turnover. That'd be awesome. I think.
Yep, hopefully. But that's about it.
I mean, Conk, once again, congratulations to you and the Diamond Eagles for winning these 2 awards, both the manager and the Fish Award of sportsmanship. Now, before we send you out, any shout-outs maybe?
Of course, I want to shout out my team. Everyone on the Diamond Eagles was great. The other manager that helped me, because I forgot to add him to our roster, but Alex, he helped out a whole lot with scheduling and finding scrims for the team. And then our 2 coaches, Pickle and Akimbo, definitely helped with our turnout in playoffs. So I would like to thank all of them.
And one final thing before you head out, just because you're a unbiased one of the unbiased award winners. Who you got winning tonight?
I want to say Wawa. Diamond had some really good games against them, and all I'm saying, they surprised me in their losers run bracket. I want to see him go all the way.
Alrighty, thank you so much for being here, Conk, and have a great rest of the day, and we hope to see you guys in CGL next season.
Yep, you too.
All right. Go Mean Green, by the way. Just want to get that figured out. All right, so now as we look forward a little bit, our next award is going to be Coach of the Season here, and we've got a couple of candidates here. Of course, our runner-up first from one of our representatives here tonight in Wawa Gaming. It was Benno as our runner-up for the Coach Award, but it's not really a surprise considering how strong this team was all season long. And representing our other team tonight, the coach of Death Blossom, it's Coach Tool.
Howdy.
How you doing today, Coach Tool? How's the team feeling coming into Grand Finals?
The same as always. Whatever. Just kind of here to play and win.
How does it feel being recognized by all the Diamond Division as the best coach and winning this award?
Deserved. I feel like if I want to boast about myself, I appreciate it. But
And that's what this is for, man.
I suppose that's what I deserved. I guess.
I mean, yeah, Death Blossom, an incredibly powerful presence here throughout the night, or throughout the season, I should say. I'm sure you hope them to be that continued presence here tonight. But like, hey, you know, you're here. You've got a bit of a platform. Like, I want you to talk us through like what was y'all's preparation like here for tonight.
Nothing crazy. Just we watched the losers finals, learned some things, figured some things out. Had a warm-up scrim and had a panic attack about 30 minutes ago, so that was my preparation, was fighting through that, so that was fun. But yeah, go mental health.
Well, we're happy you're here, man.
Try my best here.
Thanks so much, Tool, for being here. Congratulations on winning Coach of the Year, and good luck for you and your team in the Grand Finals matchup tonight.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right. Once again, congratulations to Coach Tool. Now we will move forward once again to our rookie of the season here. And of course, again, we're going to run through all of the runner-ups to make sure that those players do also get their recognition. Our runner-up was from Diamond Eagles. Ufer just barely missing out to, again, we're going to see a lot of these players here throughout this early show representing our two teams tonight. It's going to be Pigeon of Wawa Gaming.
Hey, Pigeon, how are you doing and how are you feeling? Congratulations on winning Rookie of the Diamond Division.
Thank you so much. How are you guys?
Hey, we're doing good. Looking forward to this Grand Finals matchup tonight. How are you and your team feeling coming into this Grand Final today?
I'm not gonna lie. Me, myself, I'm a little bit nervous, but I know my team is pretty confident. They've been telling me they're ready for this. Me, myself, I'm a little bit nervous. DB's a formidable team.
I mean, so are y'all, man. Like, don't sell y'allself a little bit short. There's only two teams left, and Wawa is one of them. So, what I want to know is, we got a little bit of a glimpse into this from Tool in our last interview, but for Wawa, like, what was y'all's preparations for this game coming into the night?
We just been doing a lot of scrims with some different comps, trying to look at the DB's comps that they've been running and see what we can do to kind of counteract those or play around those. So that's mainly what we've been doing. We did like 2 scrims in the last 2 days, so more than we usually been doing.
That's awesome. And before we let you go, we're going to go ahead and give you the floor. Any shout outs you want to give out before you get out of here and prepare for the Grand Final?
Oh, of course. There's a new upcoming team. They're called Costco Gaming. They're pretty dang good. I know they've been scrimming like 6.7K. It's kind of crazy. I also want to shout out the Gobbler from Wawa, RIP. And then also just my team. It's been a pleasure playing with them this whole season. I'm glad we made it this far.
All right, well, one more game ahead of y'all, and we wish y'all the best of luck in that one, Pigeon.
All right, thank you.
All right, yeah, you have a great night, hopefully.
You too.
All right.
Yeah, we will be moving on to our next category, which is the Roll Stars. So for Tank, our runner-up for the Roll Star is going to be Cloud Lemon from Shelby's team. Congratulations to them for getting that runner-up. But we are about to bring in our interviewee for the winner, which was Brooke from Cuddle Puddle. Hey, Brooke, how are you feeling? Congratulations on winning the Tank Roll Star.
Oh, man, I'm feeling great, man. I really was not expecting this at all, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, hey, well deserved. Y'all were great throughout the season. So, unfortunately, y'all couldn't quite get through the lower bracket, but still a great season indeed. So, like, since y'all's season has unfortunately come to a close, like, what's Cuddle Puddle been up to? Y'all planning, looking forward to next season potentially? Like, what are y'all thinking? Any moves?
Well, at least half of the team is going to be moving up to Masters.
Okay.
The other half is probably going to end up staying down in Diamond and running Diamond tier for the season. But yeah, I'm probably going to have to move up Masters. Geo is, I believe Reese is as well. We'll have to move up to Masters.
Awesome. And then, given all this and the success Cuddle Puddle has had, just you guys know all these teams in the Diamond division so well, and obviously you guys aren't a part of Death Blossom, you guys aren't a part of Wawa, you guys are, a third party here. Who do you got winning tonight?
I gotta go Death Blossom. I gotta go this one. They've been too consistent throughout the whole season, like just what they showed with their comps. The comps they do play, it's so hard to beat them on. Like, they know exactly what they want to do before you want to do it. It's so hard. But I will say, Wawa can't put up a fight, and they are good at the comps. They're good at it as well. So I want to see a good map 7. I want to see a map 7 tonight. But I do think Death Blossom is winning the end.
No one would be complaining about a map 7 banger. I know I wouldn't, and I'm the one that's gonna have to talk about it. So, if I'm gonna sit here for 3 hours, I want it to be a good one. So before we send you out here, Brooke, any shout outs you'd like to make so we can get it moving on?
Shout out to my whole team. Played great throughout the whole season. Shout out Coach Dare. He helped us a little bit throughout the end of the season. Shout out my whole team. Shout out Ghost, Reese, Andrew, Holly, Pizza Bot, Battle Josh, even though he's not playing, he doesn't play with us anymore. Shout out to him. Everybody. Proud of the whole team.
All right, Brooke. Well, thank you for coming to talk to us, and congratulations once again on winning that Tank Roll Star.
Thanks, man. You guys have a great night.
You too, man.
You too. Alrighty, moving things along, folks. We will be moving on to the Damage Roll Star. First is going to be our runner-up, which was Pigeon from Wawa Gaming. So not only Rookie of the Year, but runner-up for Damage Roll Star. But the funny thing is, folks, we had a tie for the Damage Roll Star. So we're going to bring in the first recipient of that reward, which is Deadeye from Death Blossom. Hello, Deadeye. How are you feeling about winning this award?
Oh, nice. I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DPS Roll Star.
If you look at the stat sheet on the website, you wouldn't have guessed that. But hey, I mean, I'm thrilled. Play for the team, right?
Hey,
scoreboard's a lie, something like that.
I mean, it was player voted, man. Like, everybody seemed to have enough respect for you to vote you in here. Of course, you are sharing the reward with not a use here, a couple of concurrent winners of this award. But hey, like, you're going ahead to play in this matchup here tonight. We got a little bit of a word from Tool earlier on, but for you, Deadeye, how are you feeling headed into this matchup, and like, what did you do to prepare for this grand final?
Not feeling too worried. I mean, just gonna go in, play my game, do what you usually do, play the best of your ability, see where it goes. I'm pretty confident in my team, I'm confident in myself. I'm sure it's gonna be a good match today. As for actual preparation, I mean, I kind of just, the usual scrim blocks, just grinding out the characters. You gotta grind and get those reps in. Yeah. Stay hydrated.
Yeah, shoot that Symmetra beam.
Hey, stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated for sure. All right, Deadeye, before we go ahead and let you go, do you have any shout-outs you'd like to give before we let you go prepare for Grand Final?
I mean, nothing in particular. I guess shout out to the team in general for all the hard work we put in this season. Hoping to end it on a high note.
Well, good luck to you and Death Blossom here tonight at Deadeye. Thank you for coming to talk to us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, as you mentioned earlier, Ray, this was a tie. y'all can't really see the results, but both of these players got 8 first place votes for this award. We got Not a Use here in as our co-winner of the damage award here for the Roll Star. Not a Use, you get the honor of being our other damage award star. How y'all feeling?
I mean, I'm very excited about this. I mean, it was really cool playing for the season.
Yeah, you guys had a overall, not too bad of a season. What do you think? I know Checkmate's kind of been, in different iterations over the past couple of seasons. What does the future look like for you and Checkmate going forward in CGL?
So a lot of the Checkmate players decided to move on to Face It. I decided that I'm going to stay on and move up to Masters tier next season.
That is really awesome, really awesome. Glad to see players continuing to improve and move up. Being that also you don't have any skin in this game, I've been asking anyone who's not on either of the two teams playing tonight, who you got winning tonight?
I want to say DB, just because I've played against them and they're a very good team.
Well, fair enough here. Not a Use. Once again, congratulations on taking home this award. And we wish you the best of luck in all of your future adventures, whether that's here in CGL or somewhere else.
Thank you.
All right, just a couple more awards here. Ray moving this truck right along to our support Roll Star, our runner-up from Wawa. Actually, it's a support from either team here tonight. The first one, I believe that can say that both representatives, I guess, except for our coach award. It's going to be Deadly Pants from Wawa Gaming as our runner-up, and the winner of the support Roll Star support from Death Blossom, it is going to be Rai. Welcome in here and congratulations on the award.
Thank you.
All right, it's been quite a season for Death Blossom. Obviously, have not had many blemishes on no dirt thrown on the jacket this season, outside of your close 3-2 victory in the winners finals. How are you guys feeling about your matchup tonight, and how did your guys' preparations going today?
We're feeling pretty confident. We didn't really do anything extra preparation wise. Just kind of another match and just do what we do and win, right?
I mean, yeah, that's really all that you can ask. Of course, y'all have fought very, very hard to be here. Rai done everything right. So let me ask you, hey, you said didn't do much. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for tonight?
Yeah, I think the team as a collective just feels confident. I mean, there's nothing more really to say on that.
All right. Well, Rai, you take home the support Roll Star as our best support here in the Diamond tier this season. Congratulations once again. Before we send you out here, any shout outs maybe?
I want to give a shout out to just the entirety of Death Blossom. Another shout out to Kettle 2, their goats. And then a shout out to Tool, the coach, because he's done a lot for me these past about year that we've been working with him. So huge shout out to Tool. Greatest coach.
All right. Well, once again, congratulations, and we wish you the best of luck here in this final tonight.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty, folks, we have one more award to give out. I will say we do not have the interview for that tonight, so we're just going to hand out the award on stream, and that is for MVP. So your runner-up, make that 3-time runner-up Pigeon two-time runner-up and one-time winner. Pigeon from Wawa Gaming being your runner-up for MVP. And drumroll, the winner of the MVP for the Diamond tier is Geo from Cuddle Puddle. Congratulations to Geo. Fantastic season. We heard Cuddle Puddle talking earlier about their plans, and Geo's one of those players who's likely moving up to Masters. Just great season from Cuddle and Geo in general.
Yeah. I mean, incredible job here from all of our winners here tonight. Every one of these players deserved what they got. Of course, all of it was player voted, player and I guess team staff voted. So everybody here has the respect of their peers enough to get these awards. But Ray, there is one more thing that we are going to be handing out here tonight, and that is a grand finals victory here as we get ready.
I'm like, wait,
a surprise award. Yeah, no, we have one more thing to do tonight. That is the grand finals here in our Diamond tier between Death Blossom and Wawa Gaming, as we get a quick look at our bracket maybe here. We will see at some point, unless we're taking a break, which I don't think we are. I haven't heard anything about that. So we get a quick look at our bracket here. Of course, Death Blossom moving through the upper bracket very efficiently. Of course, that matchup between Shelby's team in the upper bracket is actually deceptively not a 3-0, but a reverse sweep 3-2 over Shelby's team. So they had to fight to get here through that upper bracket, whereas Wawa were actually sent down by Death Blossom in the second round of the upper bracket, had to fight their way through the lower bracket, beating Shelby's team to get here themselves. So both of these teams having to face, a little bit of adversity to get here, some more than others, but they're both here and they're both ready to fight for this final one.
The question is going to be for the side of Wawa. What have they taken away from Death Blossom? We heard in the exit interview from Aura Fury when they won in losers semifinals that Wawa, I mean, I'm quoting them, they called them a bunch of nerds, that they like to get into the lab and start researching and cooking things up. So need to see. I mean, we even heard, with Pigeon that they've been looking at what DB likes to run and trying to find something to deal with it. So I think, the earnest, given it was a dominating 3-0 for Death Blossom, for them to find some answers for what was quelling them in that first matchup.
Yep. And, we heard it earlier that they have been getting ready, like you said. So we will just have to wait and see what this is going to look at. Now, do we have our first map selection? I know, as always, it's going to be Control first here. But it will be Death Blossom's selection, as they did make this game through the upper bracket. So they do get the first selection here. And our map number 1 is no surprise at all to anyone ever. It's going to be Lijiang Tower here, as you do get a look. This is a first of 4. So out of 7 maps potentially on the way.
Lijiang Tower obviously going to be that classic first map of most Overwatch matches. I do know, at least for the side of Death Blossom, in a lot of their matches, they have played the sim composition, and what they paired with it has depended. But they also play, they have shown to play either Ram or Ryan on this map. So I think it's just going to be how they feel in the moment. For the side of Wawa, as I kind of talked about with you before the match, Fletch, one of the main comps they do like to run is their Mauga composition. We'll see how the bans go. Death Blossom will get the first ban, but that's definitely a signature of theirs. It's not the only thing they can play, but it's definitely the composition they're known best for.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get too many reps down here in the Diamond tier this season, so you definitely know these teams a little bit better than I do as we get ready for that aforementioned ban phase. These teams, they definitely know each other very, very well. Of course, like we said earlier, meeting in that upper bracket. Let's see, they play during the regular season? They did not play during the regular season, actually. So interesting to note there. Surely in the midseason, right, Ray? I don't
Yeah, I
have the
believe they also
mid-season
played
bracket.
the
Yeah,
mid-season Death
yeah. So they
Blossom.
played each other twice before this season, and one was in the mid-season and one was in the postseason. Death Blossom, of course, getting the better of both of those, but it's very difficult to beat somebody twice in a season, let alone 3 times. So it's going to be the Farah ban coming in here, and I don't hate it. Right, Farah can be pretty strong on something like a Lijiang Garden, where you're trying to take those poke angles from a long way downtown with those rockets. So, like, it's not the worst ban that I've seen on a first map.
Yeah, and I don't think they're necessarily wanting to rip the Mauga ban off the gun. I think they feel they can properly counter it. So I think Farah, especially with the likeliness of them playing Sim, especially just being able to, keep their distance from the Sim TPs and throw in a lot of rockets onto the point. We've also seen the perplexity from teams be able to do. Aura Fury was doing that in their matchup against Wawa. So Wawa's going to respond and ban the Baptiste. So, which I think is an interesting angle given with a lot of these teams, especially on Lijiang Tower. I'm not saying you don't play BAP. I've definitely seen a lot of teams in Diamond playing BAP, but the traditional style for a lot of these teams is going to play the Kiri Lucio. So I think basically that basically what that ban does is just say both teams are going to be playing Kiri Lucio now. Like there's no one can play the BAP at this point.
Yeah, no, I mean that is the conventional backline right now, right? The supports Kiri Lucio, they complement each other so very well, and it has been Bap Lucio before. That it's a choice that can be made that we've seen recently on occasion, but Kiri, I think just in general is a much stronger option indeed. So I like. It might be a target ban. It might be something that, Wawa was saying in their preparation was like, hey, maybe Baptiste could be a problem with that Malga composition. So could be, a target ban. We will just have to see. Of course, we're not going to get an answer to that here in map number 1 as the Baptiste is out. So get a quick look at our starting lineups. Deadeye, JML, Mirage, Ghostly, and Rye. For the side of Death Blossom, GFL, Pigeon, Slashed Castle, Lord Shroom, and Deadly Pants representing Wawa Gaming.
Which is going to be the interesting part. Death Blossom has rotating Ghostly is also one of their best DPS players, especially on the Freya, but also practices quite often on the support, so they go back and forth. So they will be showing up today, at least on this map, for the support role, and Rise always that main stake flex support role. I think the big question is for Wawa, are they going to go with this Malga composition at the gate, or like they talked about, they've been studying what Death Blossom has been running, have they cooked up something interesting for this first map?
Yeah, obviously, Death Blossom could have been watching, so didn't spill all the beans of that preparation to us. But that's going to be such a pivotal part of this matchup, right? Because Death Blossom has not felt much pressure all season, with the exception lone being that matchup against Shelby's team in the upper finals there. So this matchup between them and Wawa Gaming, with Wawa, specifically building counter compositions to what Death Blossom is going to do, because of course there's nobody else to counterplay against, right? Because that's something that could come up during the playoffs. You never know like exactly who you're going to play in the next round of the playoffs. With Wawa, it was obvious. It was always going to be Death Blossom if they got through to this grand final. So they've had that time to try and build this counter composition, this counterplay to Death Blossom, who has been so dominant all season long. And genuinely, that is going to make or break Wawa in this final.
Here we go, folks. Bans, as you can see on the screen, are going to be that Farah and that Baptiste. Starting on Control Center, which is the most brawl-centric of the 3 sub-maps that we could see. And just one thing to keep in mind is there has been a visual bug with the kill feed in these custom games. So we will be trying our best to call out this action as best as possible. As we see Wawa Gaming pulling out that quintessential known composition at first was going to be the Mauga, but they are now showing at this point the Ramatra. I think for Death Blossom, this is what they're going to roll out on at least the Rhine with the Bastion and Sim. This has been a signature composition that they have ran. A lot of teams have had trouble dealing with this. So here we go.
All right, here we go. Map number 1, Diamond Tier Grand Finals. Death Blossom, Wawa Gaming here on Lijiang Tower Control Center. Of course, meeting where you always meet on this map in these rush compositions by that server room. But Mirage with the alt fire coming through with a pick onto GFL. A trade though, Pigeon decapitating JML. Now rotating around is this Wawa Gaming squad. Throwing out that Ravenous Vortex, catching out Ghostly there, not quite able to track them down. Pigeon looking for the off angle, trying to build up to this railgun. Once again, trying to find another shot. First flip does go towards Wawa Gaming, but this fight far from over. Bubbles out from Mirage, 80% charge. Impressive, a lot of damage could be coming out of this Zarya, but they're still just jockeying for this position. Hindered out, their roll goes away. Now it's Death Blossom here, back full HP, all hands on deck.
Interesting to see Wawa take a page out of their book and play the Sim, as Death Blossom ended up swapping over to the Reaper cast. A lot of damage in front, but they got to find an angle to be able to push in. They are putting a lot of pressure currently onto Slash Castle on this Ramatra.
Yeah, but I mean, Mirage is also taking a lot of damage here. Teleporter through. They're going to jump onto this backline as fast as humanly possible. They throw down the Tidal Blast there onto the Cassidy, who immediately, as soon as that ultimate goes away, they're going to turn their attention right back to actually the one who casted it. Ghostly, the first to fall here. So now, as these players have started to fall over here for Death Blossom, Wawa Gaming will be good to try and come back in and recapture this point.
Yeah, as you guys can already see, the color disparity is being very buggy right now. But Death Blossom able to win that fight, as now the Graviton Surge is going to come out online. Is that a
that was a fat finger for sure?
Yeah, that had to have been a fat finger.
All right, yeah. So an accident there. Could it turn tragic for the side of Death Blossom? Mirage, no Graviton Surge ready to go. Here is the Deadeye from the other side. Mirage is so low. They do pop the Deadeye into Pigeon, unfortunately, for Wawa Gaming. But with the death of Mirage, they're so early. There's just going to be nothing that they can do as Wawa Gaming reestablishes.
Yeah, and again, it feels like that accidental push of the Graviton Surge was a detriment. Could have really used that in the fight, especially when you had a Kitsune Rush throwing down on point. And Wawa Gaming is able to continue to hold. They're going to have their Photon Barrier and that Overclock, which synergize well with each other because you can just protect Pigeon while they're going for it, but they may not need it with Rai getting hit.
Yeah, Pigeon there with a beautiful first pick onto Rai, teleporter down. They're going to try and play around it, and unfortunately, JML is in no man's land, so cut down there by Pigeon, and Wawa Gaming take a commanding lead here on Control Center.
As Death Blossom's only going to have one more opportunity to try and touch this point. All they're going to have is their Tidal Wave Blast with their Death Blossom, but it could be a deadly combination. They got to push forward. They got to go now.
Deadeye cannot go down. Deadeye comes through, though, with a two-player Death Blossom into the blender. Now, Overclock in from Pigeon. Unfortunately, dropped by JML. Death Blossom, or Deadeye, rather, cleaning up a third, and Death Blossom will take over here just after below 50.
That's the fight that Death Blossom needed. Was able to win that with just Death Blossom and get that Overclock out of Pigeon. Now you have this Tidal Wave Blast that you can use defensively here, and you'll be having the ultimates to match up these incoming big-time Annihilation and Kitsune Rush ultimates coming from Wawa. There's the Tidal Wave.
There's the Tidal Blast, but it's very aggressive. Pigeon now on the far angle looking for some more. Graviton Surge here again, ready to go for Mirage. Didn't quite find it the last time, and unfortunately, Deadly Pants does not have a sound barrier to get through that. So a quick fight in and out here for Wawa Gaming.
The problem is they need to die or get out with 80%, and counting that stagger, especially on the Kiriko, is absolutely devastating for the side of Wawa Gaming. That means they're going to have to push here very quickly, and their Kiri's probably going to have to TP aggressively here as they need to go quickly, but the High Noon's going to completely zone them out.
Yeah, Deadeye in here, and it's going to be up to Deadly Pants and Deadly Pants alone to get to this objective, and they will. So 95 to 99, JML comes through. Beautiful headshot there onto Lord Shroom. Deadly Pants still trying to keep this fight going, but JML and Mirage coming together, going huge. And wow, that bug is annoying.
Death Blossom able to win that first point. There were some rough waters there for a second, but when Death Blossom really got together, really the big mistake was just that Graviton Surge. Like they probably would have been in a little bit more dominating position if they would have had that, but once they recycled back to it, they were able to take full advantage and they looked very impressive. Now we head over to Gardens as the second sub map. Doesn't look like Death Blossom is wanting to change anything, and I don't blame them. That Zarya composition from Raj outside of the Fat Finger went extremely hard. Wawa still going to keep that Ramatra. I was curious to see if they're actually going to swap these supports up, but it's probably just speed ring and go over to the Kiri, and that's exactly what it is for both of these teams. Okay. For a second, I thought Deadeye might be sticking the Sim, but they will go over to the Reaper.
Yep. Of course, GFL sticking on the Sim themselves here. As we saw last round, a little bit of poke with that alt fire. And everybody else getting a little bit in there as Pigeon on the Cassidy. Looking already off to a good start here for Wawa. GFL with that alt fire kill onto JML. Trying to break through now without their Cassidy. Of course, Mirage already at that 100 charge. Throwing a bubble out there onto the Reaper. Still has one of their own to back away as they will wait for JML to return.
It's not going to take that long. One thing we did notice is Pigeon is off the Sojourner, has gone over to the cast, which is going to help them, especially with Deadeye. That stun can be devastating. And Mirage on the Zarya, fully charged up, finds 2, even though they TP'd in.
Yeah, I mean, tried to get creative there, did Wawa Gaming, but unfortunately for them, it seems that Death Blossom were all too prepared for the Sim shenanigans, knew exactly what was coming, and put a stop to it very quickly.
Yeah, Death Blossom plays the Sim, so they know how the shenanigans work. You throw TPs out there, sometimes you take it, sometimes you don't. You got to be unpredictable. That time they took it, and Death Blossom called their bluff, and were able to wrap them up pretty quickly as Raj is already going to have Graviton Surge online.
Yeah, there is the Mirage grab down. But it was basically a meat shield there for, I believe that was JFL, as Pigeon finds a second pick. Deadeye now for a Pigeon, looking for it. Pops Rye, who is just completely unsuspecting of the Deadeye on the objective. And Wawa Gaming will be able to break through. There'll be some touches to try and get more percentage, but it will be Wawa taking the lead.
Yeah, Raj able to get JFL in the end, but it's not going to matter as the Sim can get back relatively quickly. I think that's a very favorable ult exchange for Wawa, getting out the Graviton Surge for your high noon. The only thing, though, is Raj is already halfway to building another one, which is insane to think about. As Death Blossom's looking to push this white room now, I feel like Deadeye possibly going for a flank, possibly, or just trying to find some opening to allow them to push through. They could just use the Tidal Wave Blast to be able to do that, but you might want to save that for a defensive capability.
Well, there is the sound barrier in response to the Tidal Blast as GFL gets active in the white room. Now the Annihilation in from Slash Castle, using it to essentially stay alive because that Zarya is incredibly high charge. Mirage breaks through to take down one more, but that is not going to be enough here for Death Blossom as Wawa Gaming separates themselves with one more fight.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're going to be able to touch Ghostly going down. I think that might be the point. I mean, you're definitely going to be able to get a touch, but it's going to be a staggered one. You have ultimates online as Ghostly's going to go over to Lucia to be able to touch.
Yeah, it's going to have to be Deadeye here on the Reaper, who gets booped off! Beautifully done there by Deadly Pants, completely ready for it, and then even score here on Li Zhong Tower.
As you can see why Deadly Pants was that runner-up for that support role star. As I mean, Deadeye was their touch in that situation, and they just did not make it happen. Coming into this third and final sub-map, I think the question for Death Blossom is this time around, do they go with the Sim? A lot of the times on this map, this is the map where they've most always played the Sim. So that would be my guess, but since you kind of just need to get to them on point and match it. But I say that, but Deadeye's going to go over to the Reaper, so they will not play the Sim.
Committed to this dirty bubble composition, the Zarya, the Reaper. Worked
I get it.
here a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's still a good composition, but Mirage with no bubbles, that's not good. The composition is good.
Ravenous Vortex.
That one wasn't. Yeah, no, it was a beautifully made play there by Wawa, forcing Death Blossom out so quickly.
Yeah, and so far, Wawa definitely coming to this match, you know, kind of a little bit of the underdogs. Even Pigeon said they're a little nervous, but that second sub map and this first fight, so far so good. JML's now over on that Sojourn instead of the Cass.
Cutting off the heals now is Slash Castle. Pops out the Nemesis form, has to use it to back away. Teleporter into the backline goes that Sim, who's just going to use it to bait a little bit. GFL, of course, on the objective, but Pigeon and GFL both coming together, making a great push here in this third objective.
Wow, what an opening gamut from the side of Wawas. We're going to see some swaps coming in as Deadeye going to go over to the Echo, which we have seen Echo climbing ever since they got that change to their flight. Going to be a lot of burst damage, which they probably hoping they need to try and find some early pickoffs. And they keep getting the Ramatra half, so that focusing beam could probably help finish them off.
Pigeon with the Deadeye just about ready to go, 93% and counting. Another Ravenous Vortex, again being so annoying to Mirage, who just wants to get in and go with that Graviton Surge. Has it ready to go. There it is. And it will be good for at least 2 here to go down as the Kitsune Rush comes through to try and flip this fight around here for Wawa, but unfortunately it's just Slash Castle and Lord Shroom left alive, and JML comes through to make sure that it's just Slash Castle.
This bug is killing me still. Anyway,
I'm trying to keep up with it.
For the side of Death Blossom, I think that was a good swap. Being able to have that extra burst damage is definitely helpful going up against that Sim, especially because you need the Sim down early before that beam charge can build up. And then was a great Graviton Surge coming in from Mirage. They still have a lot of ults, especially since they got out that Kitsune Rush from Lord Shroom. They're going to have that Kitsune Rush advantage for this next fight, so they got to be ready to do that.
Oh, but Deadly Pants gets it taken out before the sound barrier can come down, so Rai going to be more than happy to clean that up, especially with the investment of the Annihilation from Slash Castle. So another very quick fight here for both these teams.
And that was a 1-for-1 trade. Annihilation for Kitsune Rush, which relatively a fair and even trade. For the side of Wawa, at least in that specific fight, it's tough because you have to deal with this Zarya that's up front in your face, and you have Deadeye who's just coming from above, throwing these stickies on you. Have this focusing beam. They're going to get straight to point and pop that photon barrier.
Well, there is that photon barrier. Duplication out from the other side, trying to build up to an Annihilation of their own. Nemesis form up, very close to it, but D are taken out there of that duplicate. The overclock, of course, was answered by that sound barrier, but JML coming through huge in this fight. Wawa Gaming, though, took control of the objective over the course of this fight, so denying crucial percentage and guaranteeing Wawa even losing this fight to have more engagements.
Yeah, they basically brought this to where, because they stole that percentage, Fletch, if this had been in control of Death Blossom the entire time, this map would be over right now. But they have got it into one fight territory for themselves. All they got to do is clean up one fight. But because of how close this is, Fletch, this possibly is the last fight for for Wawa anyway. So they have to make this count. Problem is, I mean, the only thing, I mean, maybe you can build to a Deadeye and a Kitsune Rush in time, but this Graviton.
You just need to take this fight fast and die. Get out these ultimates, which exactly is what's going to happen. 75%. They've got another touch, and I mean, they're already very close to a couple of these crucial ultimates that Death Blossom won't have.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was worried because of how long these fights had been taking that they won't get another opportunity, but with how fast that one went, they will. But Death Blossom is not trying to give them a chance. There is a TP. Mirage already found one.
Yeah, they're going to go through the upper side of this map, rotating around the backside of the point. Slash Castle getting through with that speed. Now the Kitsune Rush coming down. Of course, Mirage at 100 charge, breaking through those bubbles. No more bubbles to speak of. Getting the cleanse below 200 HP. Slash Castle good for the first. Pigeon on the off angle, of course, it died in that very aggressive spawn hold. So we'll have the Deadeye to come back through. Deadeye good for a couple, though. Now the annihilation comes through. Pigeon and Deadly Pants, last ones alive here. This duplicate going to go away, but man, that focusing beam going to come through so huge. And Wawa Gaming did take control, but it's not going to be enough as that overtime wick had been burning for so long, and Death Blossom will take map number 1.
As Deadeye already showing you in map number 1 why they were the co-damage roll star. Going over to the Echo there at the end, and basically that duplicate onto the Ram ended up getting 3 kills in that final fight when it was looking pretty bleak for Death Blossom, able to make the game-changing play and secure the map 1 victory for Death Blossom.
Yeah, I mean, a very, very close first map there in this grand final. Hopefully a sign of things to come, but what a weird one it was. It felt like those fights lasted 5 minutes or 10 seconds every single time, because there were times where they would just slam into each other and just fall over. Like a couple of those Mirage grabs put an end to fights very, very quickly. A couple of them didn't. We're not going to talk about those. Well, that one also that happened right in the middle of the garden one, yeah. But you know, it did work in Wawa's favor there in the final map. If they had the resources to try and take that last fight, unfortunately they just didn't. So it was a raw fight where Death Blossom was taking the initiative. It was a close one. Right? So moving forward, it's going to be Wawa's map pick. It's going to be their first ban should they so desire, which I don't really see the benefit in relinquishing that first ban, especially in a matchup as pivotal as this one is, as well established as Death Blossom is. You know what they want to play in general. Like you said earlier, they have a good idea of how this Death Blossom team likes to play the game, and I think we saw, you know, a little bit of that idea on map 1, even though they did not quite take it.
Yeah, but the Zarya is only one facet of what Death Blossom plays.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very hard to target ban Death Blossom just because they have a lot of flexibility in what they can play. So I think it's just going to be about the maps you take them to and how you have got, Circuit Royale. It's no surprise here that this is where they're going. The question for me is Ghostly is their best Freya player. Freya, however, did get who got nerfed pretty hard on this patch, so you can no longer two-shot 250 targets with your explosive crossbow bolt. So that makes Freya a lot tougher. Not that she's still, you know, not good, but it makes it a little bit tougher. And I think that makes Ashe just a little bit stronger on this map as well.
Yeah, and I have to imagine that this means that Wawa wants to poke, right? So just in my strict opinion, I think you have to ban a tank here, right? Like you absolutely cannot let Death Blossom take Sigma away. Especially if that's what the idea is, which Circuit Royale 9 times out of 10 means that Sigma is going to be...
Sigma also got buffed on this patch too, so...
yeah.
Sigma got the extra 10 damage for the direct damage with your spheres. So Sigma's going to be stronger, but Ram is still always going to be good on Circuit for the poke. So I feel like, and both teams seem to be comfortable in playing Ram anyway, so... wouldn't be surprised if both teams just avoid it because they both feel comfortable playing those heroes anyway. As Wawa's going to ban the Sim, which to me is a little surprising. I mean, we've seen Death Blossom play a little bit of Sim on Circuit, but for the most part, they have played what we particularly expect on a map like Circuit, which is like double hit scan for the most part. Yeah, I think it's marginally questionable, even if Death Blossom does really like this Symmetra pick. I just feel like I guess I just don't know these teams well enough to say, hey, they want to play Sigma, they want to play Ram or one or the other. And Death Blossom are actually going to be forcing the issue here, it would appear. They want to play Sigma. This one signals to me. So banning out the Ramatra here on Circuit Royale essentially says, hey, you know, we kind of expected you to ban the Ramatra since you took us to Circuit Royale, so we'll just do it for you, right? We're going to go over to the Sigma and just not worry about the Ramatra. Which that's going to be the question is, are we going to see Sig v Sig? Because that's like the, as we talked about, the buff to Sig on this patch. This has always been one of the Sig territorial maps that if you were, even when Sig wasn't buffed and Sig was kind of in the dumpster a little bit, this is one of the maps where you would play Sig if you were going to. So that's always going to be a possibility for these teams. So I'm excited. Circuit Royale definitely been a much more popular map from a lot of teams in CGL this season. And I think it's been a nice turn to see that.
Yeah, this is going to be, I think, definitely an interesting one here because, like you said earlier, wow, a lot of changes here coming in. Ghostly moving over to the DPS from the support,
as I talked about,
Nax,
that means double hits
coming
again.
through. Yeah, with Nax coming through onto that back line, and then on the other side, it's Momo Monkey on the DPS for Wawa. So obviously something is being changed around here to accommodate the difference of compositional strengths on Circuit Royale, which not surprising at all. Double hit scan has ever since its introduction been just so powerful. But I still think the big question is, like, what tank do you run if you're Wawa? Because the ban on Dormatra essentially almost guarantees Mirage is going to be playing the Sigma. Now I'm looking over at Slash Castle. Do you match the Sigma? Do you play the Malga that you like, right? Or do you go somewhere else? I think that is going to be a big question that we're looking to answer here as we head into the map.
I think for this match coming in with the substitutes coming in, at least for Death Blossom, when they put Ghostly on the hit scan, whether it's Freya, whatever, basically they bring Nax in and they're going to play double flex support essentially. So generally the two supports they like to play in this setup is the Bapalari, as they're holding defensively, as we're going to see exactly that, the Bapalari. And they will play the Sig. So no surprises here, especially with that Sig getting that buff, as I talked about. Like, I believe with the combo with Sig, you don't even have to melee anymore to be able to get the kill, which is insane. So to me, Sig, I love Sig. I love to play Sig, one of my better tanks. I love seeing Sig be able to get some more shine and getting that slight buff, because I think it was needed to make him much more playable. Like, before the buff, it would have been debatable. Like, it's still debatable with the Ram, but now it's like, we play the Sig here.
Yeah, and you look at Pigeon on the Bastion as well. Bastion also got a pretty significant buff to Recon form, right? With that increase in fire rate on that primary fire. So two buffed characters here on this team looking for the opportunity to break it through. Momo Monkey, of course, looking for the poke a little bit here, as Ghostly on that Freya, like you mentioned earlier, even with the nerf. Just,
this corner that we're seeing Death Blossom back up to, this is essentially, especially with the Sigma, where you want to be holding constantly. If they start putting pressure on the high ground, you want to fall and get back to these corners as quickly as possible, because this is where you're going to be stalling a lot of time, holding a lot of space. JML on that Widow that we've seen them have great success with on this map specifically. Let's see what these double hit scan players on both sides can do. Let's see who wins this battle.
Of course, neither team has found a pick to start this out just yet. Ghostly going up looking for it, but not quite able to locate a target themselves. And this cart has been just entirely unimpeded thus far. A minute through, and we're already almost at 90 meters without a pick. And there it is, JML comes through, pick on a Pigeon. So this is now go time here for Death Blossom. They no longer have to worry about the long-range threat that is the Widowmaker. So they're going to be able to push this Wawa squad back.
Yeah, and this is kind of how I expected things to go, especially on Sig. Ram, you can take fights earlier because, you have the arms that you can throw up and stuff. Sig is just going to forebode a lot of space, especially until this final corner where your hit scans just have a lot of room to be able to work on beside JML, get that pick off that high ground. So that's exactly what you were playing for if you're Death Blossom, as Wawa's got to be able to find these angles to try and get some picks here.
Now Pigeon looking for one themselves. Here is the Gravitic Flux. Looking for the Sig. The Immortality Field comes through. So Slash Castle is good to stay alive. now going to be looking for one of their own. Going to get through the other side of this Amp Matrix so that Lord Shroom can take full advantage of the ultimate. Now, Gravitic Flux ready to go inside the building, and no Immortality Field could even come close to coming down there for the side of Death Blossom. Nax not quite able to get it through as Momo Monkey opens it up, keeping this fight going even further. Lord Shroom falls, but it does not matter in the end as Wawa Gaming completes Objective A.
And what that came down to was that window being able to force positioning from the side of Wawa for Lord Shroom. Death Blossom never got to the point to where they had a good position to be able to use it from. So they'll have that advantage coming into this next fight, but that's really what that fight boiled down to, was the window forced the positioning, and then they're able to take full advantage with that Graviton Flux. Gravitic Flux,
All right, well, here is M Matrix from Nax, and like exceptionally early. JML, though, does go ahead and make up for what could potentially have been a mistake with a headshot there on it to Pigeon. There is the Captive Sun as JML finds a second heady Immortality Field. They're trying to pop this ultimate, but will not be able to. So Death Blossom will be comfortable here heading into this next fight.
But in the end, they are able to get that Sunstrike to activate and get Lord Shroom. That's the other thing. I will say the window was a little early, but it did force him to completely back up, right? So then JML's able to get the headshot off the angle that they were taking. So a little early, but it ended up working out in the end. As the sights is going to come online for Pigeon. So you got to just watch your angles even tighter for the side of Death Blossom. I want to see what they're going to do with this bolo shot as the Captive Sun comes out.
There's the Captive Sun going to try and force out that Immortality Field, but with the fact that Slash Castle has essentially 1v1 Mirage to death, I mean, Death Blossom have broken this point wide open. It's going to be exceptionally difficult to get a proper touch in here late.
As they should possibly be able to. It just depends how hard they're wanting to commit and push up from the side of Wawa, but they'll have the members to be able to get the touch if they try to go aggressively. And they have the bolo shot to be able to throw onto this point as well, to throw a lot of damage down, but they weren't able to get the touch in time. Point's going to cap. Oh, it's because the window was thrown down. That makes a lot more sense.
No, the Ant Matrix just came down. They just weren't able to take the space back from Slash Castle.
I mean,
like, that was essentially to lock it down.
But off in the end, I mean, you still get that ult out regardless whether it got them the point or not. You don't have to worry about it now if you're Death Blossom.
Yeah,
I think
it was good for them
in case they were aggressing forward.
Yeah, I agree. Mirage, though, really, really aggro there. That essentially nullifies any kind of benefit that they might have gotten from the Amp Matrix. They're just going to push for free. JML does find another heady, though, onto Pigeon, but without a tank, there's just not going to be a fight to be had. And Wawa's going to push the high ground.
It's also really hard to just push up and play these angles without... with down one anyway, especially getting Lord Shroom there. That pretty much nets the team fight win for Death Blossom. So, I mean, you're still getting free cart push, but at this point, you're going to have to back out. I say that, but they found Rye.
Yeah, Pigeon now coming through big. JML wants the heady onto their mirror image there. Can't quite find it with the help of a shield there from Slash Castle, but there is Pigeon now getting aggro themselves. Starting to feel themselves. You need this Widowmaker to start coming alive. Finds a heady. Not quite fully charged there, though. Onto JML and... Okay, sure, man. There is the Gravitic Flux in from the side of Slash Castle. Do they force the Immortality Field? Unfortunately, I thought that went to the back of the car, but hindered up, and there is the Gravitic Flux from Mirage to essentially lock down the rest. That was a mistake by Deadly Pants. Let's, like...
I don't know what that
you
was,
can't do that.
I don't know what that was. Anyway.
JML hits shots on moving targets when you're not moving.
Yeah, exactly. But overall, that was a pretty expensive fight for Death Blossom. That was 4 ultimates used. So they have to take full advantage of this incoming Captive Sun from Rye. If they don't, because, you know, Wawa's going to be coming up on Window and Overclock.
All right, yeah, coming back around the far side. They know where JML is free shooting from, so trying to make it not so free of a shot. Momo Monkey, of course, coming up on that overclock. Captive Sun as well on the way. Slash Castle getting forced back a little bit. Not as comfortable as you would like to be, as that Widowmaker has rotated around the far side, now spamming into the little bar area over there. Rotating all the way around. over this objective. Nobody up there to shoot at for JML. Momo Monkey so close to this overclock, going to build up to it here in just a moment. Now Mirage taking the fight with Slash Castle up on that high ground. Momo Monkey needs to back away, get the healing as this fight just refuses to start.
Yes, no one's able to touch point. Pigeon gets the opening pick on a JML, so this should be the go sign for the side of Wawa to start looking and getting a bit more aggressive.
All right, yeah, can't let another one come through as there is the OC and Mirage throwing up that grasp as just put down in their tracks is Rai, who tried to pop that captive son. Ghostly has returned from spawn to try and turn this fight around, and what an accretion there from Slash Castle to deny the reposition of Ghostly. JML found a heady onto Momo, but not quite able to get the touch before the objective rolls through.
Able to finish with 14 seconds on the clock. Impressive showing from Wawa on Circuit Royale. And again, they played the position battle pretty well, taking control of that high ground, getting their hit scans, Pigeon and Momo Monkey into great positions, and then also giving them that ant mixtures there at the end to basically close that out. Got Rai mid captive sun with that overclock. How does Death Blossom look to respond on their attack? As again, they got to cap all 3 points and we'll be going to extras if that's the case. We see Wawa on this defense, not swapping anything. Going to keep. I was curious to see if they might swap off the Sojourn, but they aren't, which, you know, no surprises here. Widow and Sojourn was, because if you weren't playing Frey on the attack, probably not going to play it on the defense either. So the Sojourn going to be what we continue to see as they put that Venom Mine up there in case anyone goes over the top. But again, to me, that's just copium. Like, going over the top is, I think people are just expecting it too much nowadays.
Right now over to the attack goes Death Blossom. Huge departure, like you said, on this composition. Looking for going over the top, and yeah, that Venom Mine is there. Not gonna, there goes it procs. So they know it's coming. There's the rock onto Mirage, who dealt with, we'll say, dealt with very quickly, and that's 2 picks, and already the attempt essentially mut.
Yeah, I don't like the D.Va into the Sig. I mean, D.Va is just a ginormous target for that Sig to hit accretion rocks on. JML getting Pigeon, though, that basically opens up the floodgates to at least start forcing Wawa to have to back up.
Okay, yeah, JML not quite able to track down Momo Monkey there. Yes, that Sojourn is able to slide away, stay alive, headed up to the high ground. Oh my god! Wow! What a shot from JML! Mid-air flick headshot down. That is a tough shot. You usually don't flick down. Insanity. As that basically breaks open the push here for DB.
Still have to find a couple more to be able to get this point across. Let's see what DB can make happen as Pigeon is taking a lot of different angles as Ghostly's forced back on the Sojourn.
As Pigeon has returned, looking to try and even the score here. JML has been a force on this Widowmaker. Rock out, JML on their back. Unfortunately for Wawa, not able to be followed up on. The anti is really annoying as Nax has committed to this Ana. They know, they see each other. These Widowmakers know where each other are at. Nano Boost ready to go for Nax just about as the Gravitic Flux comes up and down. JML again with the pick on to Pigeon, and another for the road as Death Blossom will roll through A.
Love to see the adjustments coming in. I actually really like that Ana coming in to threaten with that anti-nade. Even the threat of it makes you have to play positionally different, Fletch. Because if you get hit by that, you know, especially in a poke composition, you can go down in the blink of an eye. So they're having to play a lot more safer to make sure they don't get hit by something like that.
There's the Nano Boost on the Ghostly. Almost has this overclock ready to go, but does not even need it. Will throw it down, though. So a very, very aggressive play for this Death Blossom squad.
I don't like it.
You know, finds a nice little heady there with the basic railgun, but nothing with the OC.
Yeah, not a huge fan of that one, as, I mean, you do get the cart to the top of the hill, but in comes this Captive Son from Deadly Pants, and it's going to be... Well, I don't think you get much out of that, to be honest.
Nax will fall, yeah. No, catches out Nax there. JML, though, does even the score now. Pigeon, of course, on that Ash. Coming back from spawn, sent right back to spawn. Playing a little bit safe here.
Yeah, as everyone else is also having to play safe, so you can't push JML too hard when they have the ability to heal from a distance pretty heavily. That was close.
Okay, and now Pigeon playing a little bit of that musical Chairs of Heroes. Can't quite find the shot there as the Captive Son connects on to the Baptiste. Has to force the Immortality Field / Castle, though. Uncomfortable, taking it down. Lord Shroom throwing down that Amp Matrix in the place of the loss of their tank. Will fade away as Mirage has that Gravitic Flux ready to go. JML, does not matter what character it is, that takes care of Pigeon. Momo Monkey trying to flip this fight on their head with the help of their supports. And now / Castle returning from spawn. This will be a very, very clutch ultimate there from Momo Monkey to retain control of this objective.
Yeah, as that fight was going out, the way it was going, where picks were coming in, so Death Blossom either had to get out there or just commit heavily and try and win the fight quickly. They chose to, commit and win it quickly, and they just aren't able to get it there. So no problems there. They will be able to force a lot of positioning with this amplification makers coming in from Nax, and we'll get dueling gravitic fluxes from these Sigmas. So I'm excited to see that mind game be played by these Sigs.
It's a ginormous flux in, but essentially all canceled by the Immortality Field. Found a lot of damage there, but now it's being cleaned up on. JML does clean up on that Tracer, of course, now onto that Cassidy. But the damage has been done here for Wawa Gaming. 4 players down, / Castle low, but not too scared as Momo Monkey cleans up that Sig.
Ghostly getting Deadly Pants there is actually kind of a big deal for the side of Death Blossom, because Wawa's not going to be able to play that aggressively because they don't have that speed boost to be able to get in and out so quickly. So they at least have to play further back for the time being until they get Deadly Pants back.
Now headed into this next fight, of course, Mirage taken down before that. Gravitic Flux could be used. Gravitic Flux and the Pulse Bomb from Pigeon. Late stick, a big pick. 2 players on the Pulse Bomb for Pigeon as a Momo Monkey cleans up. Mirage, heavy investment from Death Blossom, but it's an even better Pulse Bomb from Pigeon.
As Mirage going over to the Rhine now as a last-ditch effort to try and make something happen. I mean, I don't hate the idea, being able to speed and get into the face of the Sigma, because the Sigma thrives in distance anyway, but the overclocks from both of these teams, it could come down to this, is who gets the better overclock.
Here is the OC going into that thick shield of the Reinhardt, and here is the later overclock as Momo Monkeys will fade without having found a pick. Ghostly looking for one of their own, has been so clutch tonight with those railguns, but not quite able to find a target themselves. Mirage onto this objective as Ghostly and Pigeon find one each. Trading out here as Mirage tries to walk forward. There is Nax. Mirage exceptionally low, that shield broken. Immortality Field forced this Reinhardt very, very uncomfortable. Here's the Amp Matrix from Nax, and it will force to disengage for the moment from Death Blossom. And now re-engaging with that sound barrier ready to go. Here is the Gravitic Flux from / Castle. 1 up, none down, unfortunately. Lord Shroom able to get the trade for Deadly Pants there. Ghostly coming through the Earth Shatter was not the greatest as Mirage found themselves way, way, way out of position. It's Ghostly and Nax versus / Castle and Pigeon. There is Rye coming back from spawn with the sound barrier ready to go, though a 2 versus 1. Spawn is closer for Wawa Gaming as we move to parity in this grand final.
Again, Wawa coming with their best effort, one of their best maps that they're able to play on as well. Able to take map number 2 and tie up this series. Very impressed with the efforts from both of these teams, but Pigeon and Momo Monkey had themselves a map on the second map. That was very, very well played.
I mean, particularly on that back half, right? Because JML was just absolutely frying on the Widowmaker for the whole time. Unfortunately for Pigeon, didn't quite have the same impact, but split second, switch over to that Tracer, the whole game is different, right? Whether it was the Pulse Bomb, which was immaculate, right? It broke that fight wide open for Wawa. The pressure that Pigeon put onto the back line and JML, because JML had to switch over to the Cassidy to try and take care of Pigeon, and it kind of took the pressure away from Wawa Gaming, because, I mean, Pigeon, we saw a very, very strong Tracer finding picks left and right, not really caring too much about that, the flashbang. Even when JML was able to take care of Pigeon on the Tracer with that flashbang help, right? It was after Pigeon had taken 2 players out already. So, I mean, a great swap there on map number 2. Locks it up for Wawa Gaming. Now, moving forward, it's going to be Death Blossom's map pick, and we will get that on the other side of this break. Great job from Wawa to even up the score. Stick around. This grand finals is not even close to being over.
Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Big plays on Circuit Royale leads to a Wawa victory. 1-1 here after 2 in this series. And, you know, Ray, I think this is something that is akin to a breath of fresh air that we very rarely ever see, especially as the selection in the hybrid pool. We're going to Numbani for a Death Blossom selection on map number 3, and it's one we do not see very often at all.
Listen, I'm not going to spoil anything. Just know that Death Blossom has a set comp they like playing on this map. So we'll see how the bans go, but just know they got something prepared specifically for this map, especially given that they know a lot of people don't prep for this map because, you know, no one plays this map.
All right, Ray. I think we're at liberty to try and spill what we know. So, what do you know, Ray?
Well, I want to see the ban first before I spill anything.
Did
I just want to
Wawa
see
relinquish their ban?
No. What you said? What?
Oh, never mind. I'm stupid.
No, Death
I'm
Blossom is
stupid
banning. I'm like, no.
I'm stupid as heck. I'm so dumb. Wawa won last map. Ahaha. Ahaha. No, I'm silly.
My guess is they're gonna ban a tank here, especially since Wawa does their homework, but you never know. They could do a deep. My guess is they're gonna look to protect something in their set comp that they like to play.
I mean, when you look at a map like Numbani, especially early on, which we're gonna see the Sojourn ban, which I don't hate ever, right? Sojourn is always very strong. But speaking about Numbani, it's a dive map for at least the first 2 points, right? High ground is so important in these the early parts of this map that you're always going to be wanting to run something like a Winston or a Diva. So I think Wawa's ban is going to come down to which of the dive tanks do you want to play? Do you want to play Winston? Do you want to play Diva? Right? So it's going to come down to that decision to see what they are going to want to ban out here, Ray. And I imagine that, I mean, we saw the Diva. They tried to play the Diva for the side of Death Blossom on the last map. It wasn't very long lived, but they're gonna.
Yeah, that's what I expected. Okay. That is what I was expecting. Because so the set comp they do.
Oh, it's a Sim Reinhardt. It's a Sim Reinhardt comp,
It's
right?
Sim Rein Bastion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So they throw a lot of people off with it. My guess is they'll just adapt and play the Ram instead. That would be my first guess. Maybe Sig. I think it's more likely the Ram. I think, you know, Wawa knew this is coming. They knew the Reinhardt ban was the way to go. The question is, how do Death Blossom look to adapt? I'm sure they're smart enough to know that teams are going to know what they like to play here, given, you know, it's such a niche comp and it's caught a lot of teams off guard. So you got to know, like, okay, if a team bans Ryan here, what do we do instead? As we do have Deadeye coming back in on the DPS and Ghostly coming over to that support role. Again, Deadeye will be likely playing the Sim here. JML plays that Bastion. But I'm excited to see the adaptations that we get from both of these teams. Obviously, Wawa knows what's coming, so let's see if they've come up with some kind of remedy for the antidote.
Well, do they know what's coming? Like 100%, right?
Because
they banned the Reinhardt, but that can't come anymore because the Reinhardt's out.
Well, I know, but I mean, they know the comp that ideally.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They do know the idea. They know what Death Blossom wants. The question is, like, yeah, I agree. Yeah, do they have the answer to what comes next? Because they put a halt on the initial push for the Reinhardt composition. Now, I think the question is, what does Death Blossom do in absence of the Reinhardt? Right? Do they go over to a dive composition that is a bit more traditional on Numbani, or do they just adapt their composition to the Ramatra? And yeah, it does look like the Ramatra is going to be the choice.
Yeah, that is my default guess, is they just play the same combo, so they go through Ramatra. Ramatra still has the shield. Ramatra can brawl out just as well as the Rhine. As we see Wawa on this defense, geared and ready, they are going to play defensively with the Ram Bastion of their own. The question is, will they be, because the thing with the Death Blossom comp is they're able to rotate themselves around easily with that Sim TP. You don't have that ability with the Wawa comp because they're not playing the Sim. So that's one thing you got to be careful about. But I'm excited. Clearly, as we talked about, Wawa knew what was coming, and this is their answer.
All right. Here we go. Map number 3, Numbani. An uncommon occurrence to be sure. Low ground push. Seems Wawa was ready for that. There is the teleporter around to the other side. They're going to try and run this pinch composition, but JML just barely able to get back onto the map there. Almost knocked off. I believe that was probably the alt fire there from Pigeon. Mirage incredibly low themselves and will get tracked down. Now this the rest of this DB squad looking to try and bring this back from the brink. JML's got a lot of damage out, but it's just not going to be enough anymore.
Yeah, it's exactly how I talked about. They knew this comp was coming. Again, the going low ground, I get the idea what they're trying to do, but when they're matching them like this, it's just so much damage they can just throw down that narrow choke right there. So then you're caught in the 8-ball there, and then obviously JML almost getting booped off there, having to cancel the form early was not ideal either. So Death Blossom's going to have to adjust going around this time, which I think is going to be the better approach to try and get yourself in a better position.
Man, Ray, look at the difference in the ultimates for these Ramatras. 70 to 30. A ridiculous difference as we head to the high ground here for Death Blossom. And Wawa Gaming are just going to play around it. They know that this Death Blossom squad, it can't do anything to them unless they peek out. And now the pinch maneuver occurs as they teleport over to the other high ground to try and catch Wawa out. And they'll do it beautifully there as Mirage takes down Lord Shroom. Here is the wheels form from the side of JML. Momo Monkey tracked down, and it will be a Death Blossom victory here with just over 2 minutes.
Yeah, that was the approach I liked from Death Blossom, going around, then getting themselves onto that high ground, and then because of the positioning they took with the Bastion, able to use that Bastion form and get the kill onto Pigeon on the rotate. So that's how I was looking and waiting for the adjustment coming in from Death Blossom. Now they get to start really taking advantage of these sim TPs as the second point, a lot longer sideline, so you have to close that distance with the TP. This is where the sim comp, has even more of an advantage.
All right, headed over to this second objective as Lord Shroom drops the Ant Matrix down. Here is the artillery form for the side of Pigeon. Not quite able to find the same value that JML did on theirs, but it did force them out of the high ground for a moment. Let them try and figure out what they want to do. There is our beautiful car wash there from Deadeye, who's finding a lot of this spam damage. Kitsune rushed down straight into the cart. Oh, okay, no, straight through the cart. Good placement there as Sound Barrier comes down. Pigeon got very close to falling over there. We're going to see the annihilation in from Slash Castle, but Momo Monkey out of position, caught, taken it down. There is trades, though, as these fights continue to roll. This is kind of the same story as map number 1. These fights either take 10 years or 10 seconds. The Annihilations guarantee a 10-year fight here as the stalemate continues.
Still a Death Blossom available for Momo Monkey with not much to deal with it, so let's see if they can get the killing blow in this long fight, but they get Pigeon.
Yeah, Pigeon taken down there. I think at their own hand, definitely at their own hands. There's the Death Blossom. They will get around the corner as Momo Monkey is taken down there by the kunai. Even with that smaller hitbox now, Ghostly still deadly with it. They do find one pick onto Deadeye, but with the spawns being so close, that's going to be essentially a non-starter.
As they just are finishing things off, as they're just now getting everyone cleaned off of the point. So that was a big time waster from the side of Wawa, all things considered. That was a very, very long fight. The issue they're facing is we see Pigeon getting off the Bastion, going over to the Ash now. Is the Ash is definitely going to want to have that space and have the high ground. You can easily close that distance with the TP, but Death Blossom is closer to a lot more of their key ultimates than our Wawa.
Well, here is Artillery forcing out that Immortality field so early. Rotation all the way around the backside of the map here as they will look to try and take this fight with the help of that teleporter. Ant Matrix does come down, and it's a 2-for-2 trade here. Pigeon and JML, but Ghostly putting the numbers in favor of Death Blossom. will push them through the end of this objective.
Ever since Death Blossom was able to get their positioning correctly after the adjustment on that first point, they have been very good with these TPs and finding their spots. As I mentioned, it's a composition they have been working on for this map specifically, and it is paying dividends for them now. Wawa Gaming can still hold. This is going to be one of those long fights again because both tanks are going to have that annihilation.
Pigeon just cannot go down there, though. That is severely unfortunate as the Kitsune Rush comes in for this fight to just push Death Blossom. They're just coasting through this map right now.
Yeah, still just over 2 minutes on the clock. I think the one thing Death Blossom's trying to push and get is trying to finish with over a minute on the clock, so they have that big-time win condition. They still have so many ults for the side of Death Blossom, so let's see if they can take advantage of the advantage they have.
Well, here is that photon barrier, sound barrier, barriers from the side of Death Blossom. The Annihilation just gets ripped to shreds. JML proving to be an absolute menace here tonight, Bastion or otherwise. Death Blossom, they do find a couple of picks here, but it's not going to be enough as Death Blossom continues to push their advantage. Here is the hazard swap from Slashed Castle, trying to keep it going. Mirage turning attention to Lord Shroom, knows where that threat lies. If they can get it under a minute, they know that that would be incredibly good for them. So they're just trying their absolute damnedest to get this fight through. 15 seconds, and that point is theirs. The numbers do not favor them here as JML continues to rip people to shreds, and with 5 seconds to spare, Wawa Gaming have an extra win condition.
No, Death Blossom. Death Blossom.
Yeah, Death Blossom. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, so if Death Blossom, even if Wawa finishes this, if Death Blossom can get them to overtime, then only Death Blossom will get the attack on the offense. But Death Blossom's not even trying to worry about that right now. They're trying to just make sure they secure this victory without having to go to extras and make this a 2-1 series. Again, it just felt like as soon as Death Blossom got rolling with the sim comp, they didn't look back. It took them a fight to adjust properly and take the right angle. I don't think they were expecting the match on the Bastion, because I get the idea of going the low ground when most teams are not going to be matching you like that. It gives you the possibility of being able to TP through to that area up there and then be able to take the stairs to the high ground very quickly. Or even just pop out of the door there and then TP straight to high ground. But because they were being matched, the Bastion could just spam down that hallway. So that's why they had to take that outward angle on the second fight. But now defensively here, they're going with the D.Va composition, which is no surprise here. This is another, they've been practicing this. They have Deadeye go over to the Torb and JML over to the Cassidy. The question is, how well will this deal with the Bastion? I think it has its place and purpose. Mirage is going to have to be very good with that defense matrix. So let's see how this goes. They're going to do the same thing in path underneath.
Here we go. Under this point goes the side of Wawa Gaming, but Momo Monkey already so damn low. Has to drop into that wheels form, if nothing else than just for the damage reduction. Gets the healing, trying to keep this one up. Mirage, of course, able to reposition so quickly on this D.Va. Now headed back up to the high ground. Looking for somebody to jump on is this Wawa squad, but all knocked off the high ground. Ryan, JML combined for one each and essentially shut down anything that Wawa could do here.
Yeah, that's also the power of the D.Va, as you mentioned, being able to reposition very quickly. The defense matrix can eat a lot of the damage from the Bastion, and then when they step out to that area on the high ground, the D.Va can also boop them off of that, as we saw that come through pretty well. So again, Death Blossom playing things very well. I mean, just look at that. Look at those ult charges. The D.Va's already almost up to a remake. JML's getting close to a high noon. They're going to have a lot of tools at their disposal for this next fight.
Here we go. Quick speed over to the high ground, but I mean, they're taking so much damage before they can get there, Ray. There's the self-destruct. Will only get rid of the immortality field, but I imagine a ton a ton of damage there as the Matrix comes through. Lord Shroom trying to keep this team up through that. And there's Pigeon opening up the fight there with a pick on to Ghostly. Slash Castle throwing up the hands. Can they break this? Okay. Very, very weird engagement here as this Wawa Squabble just drop back into the back staircase and wait for these ultimates to go away.
It is buying quite a lot of time to be able to get Ghostly back, so very smart. Let's see where this Bastion ultimate's going to go. It gets JML. Very well placed. That's the cleanup duty. Wawa should be able to get this point.
Yeah, Rye and JML both falling there in absolutely brutal fashion. Mirage, of course, getting D-Max quickly, and now it is just open season here for Wawa Gaming on this objective.
Still, again, as we talked about, Wawa has to make sure they finish with some semblance of time on the clock. Still plenty of time. It didn't take them too long to be able to cap that point. But they got to make sure. I mean, it cost them their window. I mean, they've already pretty much built up to another one. So they're not in a bad spot. The question is, how are they going to try and get Death Blossom off of this high ground positioning this go around?
Long way out is this Torbjorn just spamming those rivets in with the help of that turret. Just chilling. No, they're not under too much pressure from this Wawa composition on this high ground, especially without that Symmetra. You see where Mirage is looking. They know exactly where this Wawa Gaming squad is going to be coming from. So, I mean, it's just a wait and see what Wawa is actually planning to do here, because Death Blossom can waste as much time as they like, because they're not pushing this objective, and especially as Momo Monkey falls, it's going to be up to an Amp Matrix sound barrier here as... Okay, Pigeon comes through with a big pick onto Deadeye. That's a lot of that longer range spam gone for the side of Death Blossom, especially without the Cassidy. So JML and Deadeye will return. Slash Castle going down is pretty bad though, Ray.
Yeah, they cannot get this point across without Slash Castle. They're going to have to look to regroup. Still plenty of time on the clock. They don't have to rush. They don't have to try and force anything here. Just look to regroup with your team. As we see Momo Monkey getting really close to that artillery strike. And Slash Castle will be able to... Oh, that's not great. I said you needed to back up and regroup.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be exceptionally difficult now for Wawa Gaming. They have been forced into a very bad position, especially without their Bastion. And now especially as the Pigeon goes down. They've got some ultimates, or an ultimate, I guess. They just need the space, and they're not being afforded it.
They're still going to have key ultimates. This Annihilation should go pretty heavily. And in the midst of all this, I mean, we got Momo Monkey going over to the Genji now, which Genji can help them contest this high ground. But that's about it. The turret can be very annoying as they're going to get rid of that immediately.
Turret gone, but here is the Molten Core from the side of Deadeye, dropping it on that objective. Now the Deadeye from JML, not Deadeye, looking for this Ramatra, who's got a skull on him, but can't quite connect. Deadeye does, though, with those rivets, the rivet gun. Very, very powerful right now on this Torbjorn pick. The D-Mech does come through. Find a nice little flash there on it to Mirage, but with the Ant Matrix on the high ground, I mean, Rai able to take down Slash Castle, and again, another fight that looked like it was Wawa's to lose. It goes the way of Death Blossom.
Again, that was just them being very patient. That window and Captive Sun combo from Ghostly and Rai basically saved the day. Pigeon still can come back with a high noon. They could possibly put a window in front of it, or window can force positioning one way. High noon can force it in the other way. They got two big zoning tools, and maybe they can get some picks off it as well. But Mirage does have that Remax, so you got to be careful about that.
Coming back through. Mirage on the high ground. Now, Deadeye, even in from the side of Pigeon, even in the face of Mirage, good for the pick. There is the self-destruct to try and get back into the mech here. We'll be safe, but Mirage is not letting Deadly Pants get away with that. Dropped, though, in the end as overtime begins to burn. JML on the high ground alone will be jumped by Momo Monkey, and that will do it here for this second objective. Potentially, no, the retouch does come through as Deadeye just walks forward, essentially unimpeded. This, again, Wawa Gaming just falling apart in the pivotal moments, as it will be incredibly difficult, as this spawn is way, I guess it is actually pretty even here, but Mirage hanging on Lordstrom is going to make this very tough.
And Death Blossom with their map pick in tow, with their set compositions in their back pocket, able to win on Numbani despite the Ryan ban. They made the adjustment to go to the Ram, and they had their way with Wawa on this map. We kind of talked about how Circuit Royale was going to be one of the best maps for Wawa. I wouldn't say Numbani's like Death Blossom's best map. They just have unorthodox set comps they play here that throw teams off. So when they know they need to get a map win in here, they can take it here, and you saw what happened.
I mean, that's just how these gotcha maps work, right? Nobody's playing Numbani. Who the hell picks Numbani, right? Because the general idea in the greater Overwatch community is that Numbani's a bad map, right? People don't like Numbani. Which is why it's such a strong ace in the hole for a team like Death Blossom, who has got compositions prepared, right? Who does the work, puts in the work with a coach like Tool to prepare them for these maps that can come out and say, hey, boo, right? Numbani. You have to play Numbani now. Have you scrimmed Numbani? Probably not. We're counting on the fact that you haven't. And, I mean, Death Blossom proved it there. You know, you talked about it. This set composition, even if it's not their best map, any preparation on a map like Numbani is more preparation than anybody else will put into a map like Numbani, and it led to a Death Blossom victory here.
And now the question going forward for this next map choice coming in from Wawa Game. We know we have Flashpoint left and we have Push left before any kind of map resets happen. Where do they look to go here? Because like I mentioned, Circuit was a nice niche pick for them to be able to play their double hit scan where they felt like they're strongest and their best at. But the maps that we have left, Push and Flashpoint, I don't think there's any map where you, like, both teams kind of had their gotcha map, right? I don't think either of these game modes have that kind of map in them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like most teams have prepared for just about all the maps that are left, right? You know, you got your 3 push maps, right? You got Runasapi, you got Colosseum, you got Serve. None of those matter. That'll be for next map as we head into map number 4, which is going to be Suravasa, of course. It's the premiere of the Flashpoint maps that we have in our pool. It's going to be essentially what we saw, I have to imagine, on map number 1. A lot of rush. You know, Lucio is going to be paramount. Could be banned. I could imagine that. But it is going to be pretty much a bog standard with both these teams. More than likely leaning toward that Ramatra.
I will say, as I talked about, Wawa does like their Mauga. I don't know if they're going to look to ban a tank and protect it at this point, but that's always going to be a possibility. I think the Wawa ban could be interesting to see, because I think that's going to say a lot about what they're wanting to play here. Like, if they ban like a Queen or a Hazard or something, to me that's trying to protect like either their Ram can't get banned out, so to me that's probably trying to protect their Mauga. Maybe they're going to look to play that here. But if they go in the direction of like a support or a damage, to me they're not as worried about the Mauga getting banned, and they're willing to just play the Ram. So let's see. Wawa's going to ban the Zarya, which, yeah, I mean, Mirage Zarya went absolutely crazy. I do not blame them, given Saravasa is also a great Zarya map. How will Death Blossom look to respond? Do they look to possibly ban a Soj to get rid of something that Pigeon's really good at? Because then at that point, you're just going to be in a cast duel, and, you know, maybe JML's okay with that. Or do you look to possibly ban a support, like maybe ban the Lucio, because Death Blossom has felt a lot more comfortable to play like the Kiri Wu?
Yeah, it will be the Lucio
Yeah,
this
wow.
time around.
Wow.
So
I got that one right.
I mean, both of these bans make absolute sense. I mean, Lucio ban, you know, even I mentioned it before we got to the ban phase, right? Lucio's paramount, right? A lot of teams really rely on that Lucio speed boost to get around the just absolutely ginormous flashpoint maps, right? So not having a Lucio is going to force a bit of a difference in these compositions, right? If you want the speed boost, which there will be a difference in the composition as Infused Onion enters the lineup for Death Blossom. If you, like I was saying, if you wanted to run that speed boost, you'd have to be relying on the Juno as a support, or you could play the Junker Queen. I feel like there are just better options than Junker Queen right now in the tank role. But without the Lucio, it's going to cause, you know, some teams to run that Kiri Wuyong that we saw when Wuyong was really, really strong. And so I think that is a very, very strong ban here, as well as Zarya. Zarya is incredibly powerful on a map like Saravasa, right, where the Reaper Zarya composition that we saw on map number 1 from a team like Death Blossom looked so strong. It's still incredibly strong here on Saravasa.
We will be finding out shortly what's going to happen here. Will Wawa be able to tie this series up 2-2, or will Death Blossom take a commanding 3-1 lead? As we've kind of talked about throughout this series, it's been what it's really come down to for a lot of these have been map choices. I mean, Death Blossom looked pretty good, but it was relatively close on Lijiang Tower. Ended up going 3 submaps. And the last fight came down to the wire with Deadeye having that huge duplicate to the Ram and making a huge play. And then obviously Wawa taking them to Circuit for the second map, being able to play their double hit scan. Pigeon and Momo Monkey went absolutely insane, as well as Slash Castle on the Sigma looked impressive. And then DB, we all just saw how that map went for them with the set comp with the Bastion Sim. As now we move to Saravasa. Zarya ban, so we're not going to see that from Mirage, which we saw that on Lijiang Tower. And no Lucio, which we, outside of Circuit, we haven't seen the side of Wawa flex out of that. And it was in a double flex map anyway. So we haven't seen them when main support's available. What do they look to do? Do they feel comfortable being able to play the Wu Yang, as we're seeing, as we do see that right now from the side of Wawa, which is nice to see.
Yeah, Kiri Wuyong is you know, still, it's not the best, right? You'd rather have the Lucio. Of course, the Lucio out of the question right now. Hi there, Slash Castle. How you doing? So it'll be, I imagine that this is just going to be a swap back over to the Kiri. Bit of a hyper ring to get out of spawn. But on the other side,
Roadhog comp.
They're committing to this Roadhog with the Life Weaver here.
Terra Reaper. Cornball composition we got right here.
Yeah, this is very, very interesting. Very pick heavy. They're going to be relying so much on these Roadhog hooks. Hook out right into the shield of Slash Castle. Perfectly timed there. Might have connected onto the Ramatra should that shield not have been there. Hook again, a little bit wide right as the flip comes through for Wawa, essentially uncontested. So now Death Blossom are having to figure out how they are going to be taking this fight. There it goes, is the hook there. There's a Reaper in the backline, guys. I don't know if you heard that. Life Grip out there. Momo Monkey falls, and it will be a Death Blossom fight victory here to start out this point. But almost 50% here for Wawa Gaming, as, I mean, that's really nothing to sneeze at, Ray.
Yeah, again, that's kind of how the Roadhog comp goes. In those fights, you can't take the brawl like that, so you're just playing your poke, waiting to hit your hooks, and we saw, 2 misses right out the gate. But as soon as Mirage got rolling with the hooks, Death Blossom able to find their picks and take this point cap very quickly. As we do see the Ana swap coming over from Deadly Pants, which is no surprise. It's like, you see a Roadhog in your comp games, you're like, screw you, I'm going Ana.
Well, Momo Monkey's also dead, so I think that this is a pretty comfortable. You've gotten picked. You just can't engage here.
As we see already, the form being forced out from the side of Slash Castle. Still no nades being thrown, but that was another well-timed shield once again from Slash Castle.
All right, here we go now. Fully stocked up here is Wawa Gaming. All 5 players ready to roll. Here is the Deadeye from the Cassidy. Looking for this Roadhog. Will find the Roadhog. A beautiful body block there from Slash Castle. Pigeon good for a second. Now a third. And a very swift cleanup there after a beautiful body block Deadeye combo.
Yeah, being able to do that with just a singular ult commit as well. Very, very well done from Wawa Gaming. Death Blossom will be able to come back. They're pretty much going to have every single ultimate at their disposal because of the late minute swaps. Wawa, man, I'm almost lagging behind a little bit, but everyone else should have their ultimates. So let's see who's going to get aggressive early on. Wouldn't be surprised if we get a big window on this point to try and force positions.
I mean, just so many ultimates here to speak of. Here is the Ant Matrix. Anti on it to Mirage, who gets that immortality field and is getting a lot of healing, especially since JML has taken down Momo Monkey. A little bit of that pressure taken out. The point will flip back the way of Death Blossom for the moment. I'll be honest, right? I didn't expect the overtime wick to burn down that quick. that was crazy.
Well, I mean, it's not like a regular control point. They're the flash point, so the wick goes even faster. And it had already been in overtime there for a good minute. As all right, there's the Malgacomp being whipped out from the side of Wawa Gaming, which the burn and the crit can actually do a lot to the Roadhog composition, so I'm not surprised to see them pulling it out. Especially comboing it with like a burn and an anti. Oh, that can go crazy. But Death Blossom was also smart. They saved both of their DPS ultimates. So Wawa's, this Kitsune Rush got to go pretty crazy.
Yeah, well, okay, well, JML was more than ready for that combo there. The overrun does come through. Mirage finds a nice little hook there. Momo Monkey is going to try and deny the cap for a little bit. Won't quite get to the objective, and it will be DB coming in here early with the quick flip.
And they still were able to hold on to that Death Blossom. But Wawa is going to be well equipped for this next fight. Momo Monkey's going to have that Blade online. If you want to combo it with the Kitsune Rush, I mean, not really necessary. The Blade should be able to get enough on its own. And then you throw out that Kitsune Rush probably like on point to really take full advantage of that positioning.
Immortality Field having already been invested to get Mirage out of a poor spot. But, I mean, this is just everything going the way of DB right now. Force out an ultimate, did not even need one of their own. That is brutal.
Yeah, to me, Wawa's playing into the chaos that Death Blossom is causing. I feel like you're better suited. I mean, we see Genji taking all these angles, trying to make something happen with the Blade. Just coalesce on a target, whether that's the supports, whether that's the Roadhog, everyone just focus that one target. That's how you're going to have to try and break through this chaos comp of Death Blossom.
Yeah, now playing into the hands of Death Blossom on a Roadhog comp of their own. Lord Shroom threw down the Kitsune Rush, but Infused Onion, or rather Mirage, answers with the pick there. Deadeye comes big with that Death Blossom. So it's a 2-for-2 trade here, as Deadeye did fall in the process, but Momo Monkey having to deal with Ghostly is brutal. So that will lead to a map point here for Death Blossom.
Yeah, I just don't like the idea of Wawa playing their game. I mean, now we even see Slash Castle, who went to the Roadhog there in that fight as well. To me, Death Blossom's like, you want to take us on this comp that we have set for this map? Sure, like, I don't know. We'll see what they could do, but to me, it's a big mistake.
All right, some nice poke there by Momo Monkey. Finding a little bit from range those arches. Now aggressing a little bit. Momo Monkey finding a little bit of a rotation. Rocket Barrage ready to go. I mean, a nice little hook there onto Slash Castle pulls them off of that high ground. Ghostly with the Ant Matrix trying to keep this fight going. Now there is the whole hog. Of course, Slash Castle not able to build up to one of their own. So Mirage I mean, this is Wawa Gaming just falling apart here, investing ultimates when they just can't afford it.
Point cap from Death Blossom. Still have that JML Rocket Barrage online. I mean, you can't say it was a pretty expensive fight for Death Blossom. They use their support ultimates and their Roadhog ult. So this is going to be Wawa's opportunity for me, Flitch, to really start flipping the point and getting some progress in their favor. They're going to have a, like a 2-3 ult advantage on them for this next fight. Obviously, you can't just use them all, but they got to do something here.
All right, trying to focus out this Roadhog. It does not connect with the hook, and there's, my God. I don't think I've ever seen a Roadhog that dies so quickly. It is a 2-for-2 trade, though. So, still possible here for Wawa Gaming. They do have the closest spawns here. But they're just going to back off here. They do know they have close spawns, so they can get a late touch before the flip.
Yeah, but they've already committed 2 ultimates to that fight, did Wawa. So they're just gonna have, their Rocket Barrage, their tree. Deadeye is rounding the corner on this Death Blossom, so Wawa's got to go quickly and make a move.
Yeah, you have to, or this map is just over. Here is the whole hog ready to go. There is the whole hog pulled into the corner. Goes this Roadhog. Nice little Rocket Barrage there to take care of a couple. There's a Death Blossom from Deadeye. Unfortunately, nobody on the point to go down to the blender. So here in the final moments, Wawa Gaming will be able to lock it down. And JML taking down Momo Monkey is so brutal there.
Still, to me, that was a little bit of a mistake. I think you would have wanted to kept that Death Blossom of your side of DB. You were losing that fight already. You had lost 2 to the Roadhog ult and the Rocket Barrage. The thing is, you got a lot out of Wawa. The only thing we're gonna have dueling windows for this next fight, and Mirage is really close to the Roadhog ult, so I feel like that could be the key difference in Death Blossom and winning. But that opening pick might have just sealed things.
Yeah, Pigeon going down is backbreaking. There's no really other way to say that the hook doesn't connect. Doesn't look like it does. There is one for the side of Mirage. There is the whole hog to try and push people off of this objective, but Wawa still controls the space. Now, the Tree of Life following up the end of the Amp Matrix. Ghostly on this far high ground looking to keep this fight alive in a Slash Castle, and now Deadeye fall for the side of Wawa Gaming. Slash Castle has to return on this Wrecking Ball. This is going to be a broken fight if there's even a chance.
We did see Momo Monkey go over to the Sojourn, gets picked. However, as they were getting close to that overclock, the Wrecking Ball coming on for Slash Castle. JML has the barrage, finds 2.
Well, yeah, able to finally track down Deadly Panther. Slipped away from the barrage for a moment, but JML always has eyes on you. Map number 4 belongs to Death Blossom here. Suravasa dominant.
As they take a commanding 3-1 lead in the series and put themselves on championship point. That was a very, we've been seeing quite the comps coming out from Death Blossom, going from the Ramatra, Symmetra, Bastion now to the Roadhog, Thera, Reaper with Lifeweaver. They're showing that, we can play pretty much anything you throw at us. And outside of the one blip on Circuit Royale, they've been looking very, very good. It's almost like that one map almost like got to them, because they've looked dominant on these 2 maps since then.
Yeah, it's looked impressive for sure for Death Blossom now finding themselves on map and championship point, but on the other side, Wawa, they have a map selection and first ban on the horizon. We're going to give them a few minutes to sort their thoughts out and take a break. Everybody watching this series is not over yet. Get some water, grab a snack, because Wawa has some more fight to give. All right, welcome back, everybody. 3-1, but this is not a normal series. This match is not over. It's 1st to 4, so Wawa still has some life in them headed into map number 5. It was always going to be push here in this last slot of, the first 5 maps. And it's going to be a new Queen Street in here for map number 5, Ray.
We have to keep in mind for the side of Wawa, I mean, the Death Blossom's on match point. They have to win these next 3 maps in a row. And after this, if they are able to win this and force a map 5, the next subsequent maps will be in Death Blossom's favor and they'll get the ban favors. So it's going to be an uphill battle, but it is always possible. This Diamond Division is no stranger to 5-map series, 7-map series. So let's see how this one is going to go. New Queen Street first ban is going to be on the side of Wawa Gaming. We did see New Queen Street get played from Death Blossom in their comeback win against Shelby's team back in the winners finals, and they played the Ryan comp on here as well. That can't be banned this time around for Wawa. So the question is, what direction do they plan to go this time? Do they try to attack one of the DPS maybe? Like, if it's going to be the Sebastian, maybe you go after one of them.
I mean, they've already banned Symmetra here, so it would have to be the Bastion if you want to play that game, right? But other than that, like this is such a hard position to be in because, like you've said multiple times with this series, Death Blossom is a uniquely flexible team that has just so many off-the-wall compositions. It's going to be a Cassidy ban, which, sure, I guess JML is very, very strong on the Cassidy. Proved that a couple of times this series. So, you know, not the worst, but this also points to me that's like, hey, you know, we recognize what you're going to play. We're also prepared to play the Bastion should we so need to.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think Pigeon is good at the cast as well. But I mean, you could always just go to the Sojourn instead. Pigeon's just as good as that. I mean, Pigeon's also shown that flexibility, being able to play that Bastion back on New Bonnie. My guess, maybe if your Death Blossom I mean, it's not like they've struggled against the Malga or anything, but do you pull that trigger just to take one more tool of yeah, that's what I figured. I'm like, at this point, do you just throw that out there? Just try not in deep. I mean, Malga's pretty good at New Queen Street, so it's not a shocker to me.
Yeah, and I mean, this is going to force the hand of Wawa Gaming. You know, they do like that Malga composition, like you've said also multiple times. Like we saw last map, they didn't stay on it for too long. They unfortunately attempted the mirror composition on the Roadhog comp. I will be flabbergasted if we see that again, but I'm not making any promises because this match has delivered more than I could possibly have thought. As Rai re-enters the lineup, last seen on map number, I believe, 1. And Nax coming in to the DPS line for Death Blossom.
Yeah, so this is where Nax plays his handy dandy Soldier 76 on this map. This is something they do consistently in scrims. So they are prepared and ready for this. As that's it's gonna get updated on the screen. For the side of Wawa, no surprises here. This is the squad, I mean, who won them the one map. Got to keep that going, try and make something happen. The first two, I mean, map 1 was really close. And map 2, they, you know, kind of won in dominating fashion. So they definitely can fight back. They just got to find a way around these set comps that DB keeps coming into on these maps.
Map number 5, everybody. New Queen Street. Our questions will be answered here in a moment. Wawa, I think that's going to stick just based off of what we see in the DPS slots for the Wrecking Ball, Tracer, Genji here. On the other side, Death Blossom, they're hovering that Dirty Bubble, Reaper, Zarya composition with the Lucio Kiriko backline. So very, very standard composition from Death Blossom with the exception of that NAC 76.
I would say it makes sense why they banned the cast now, given they're coming in and playing the Wrecking Ball composition. The cast is one of the most annoying hindrances to the Wrecking Ball. So that ban adds up. I crossed it in my head, but we just hadn't seen the Wrecking Ball come out today yet. But if you were going to see it, this is a pretty, I mean, I thought I would have seen it on Saravasa, but this is also a pretty good map for Wrecking Ball.
All right. Looking for it here. There's a no reg hits there for Momo Monkey. We will see Nax be put under a little bit of duress, getting that healing coming through. Engagement back toward the middle of the map. Nax looking toward this Tracer. They know where the Wrecking Ball's at. Slam going to come down. Can they get rid of Nax? They can. Momo Monkey dashes through. Mirage on the far side near this bot. Gonna see that Slam come down. The adaptive shields roll through. Deadeye can't quite track down the Wrecking Ball, though. Can we take care of Deadly Cats? We can, but neither Lucio is in this fight anymore. So Deadeye now with the bubble trying to find something else here, but Momo Monkey again coming through huge.
Deadeye going down to Slash Castle. Basically, point now goes back to Wawa. I was curious if they're going to swap anything. I mean, it's tough. Playing the Soldier is going to be tough against a Genji Tracer. So let's see. Deadeye has been farming, though. Already going to have a Death Blossom coming into this next fight. This is the thing about the Zarya is you have the bubbles to help with your Reaper. But it's going to be hard to farm a lot of bubble charges. Farm a lot of charge off your bubbles against the Wrecking Ball.
Back through. Slash Castle Wawa Gaming. Gonna find the roll through. Looking for the slam, but nobody to really comfortably jump onto. But Nax falls there. We're gonna throw the bubble onto Death Blossom there for Deadeye. But Pigeon comes through big. Who's looking for some more. Pulse Bomb out, will not connect. Of course, no recall here in this engagement to try and get that health back. Slash Castle gonna find the slam. Beautifully timed there from Ghostly. Slash Castle trying to find the roll through, will get taken very, very low, as it will be Wawa just fighting for the retainment of this lead, and Lord Shroom, with the help of their very own Kitsune Rush, will take down Mirage and essentially put this back in the hands of Wawa.
Yeah, and cleanup duty's just going to come in. Deadeye's going to get one on the exit, but it is too little too late. I say that they get two on the exit, which could actually mean a lot for the ability of how much effort Wawa can put into pushing up, because the forward spawns aren't there yet, so they're going to be down, two coming in. Momo Monkey's still going to have that blade if you want to put a lot of pressure. Death Blossom coming up on 4 of their ultimates. There's the mines. This is where you can farm some charge if you are Mirage.
Well, here is Mirage opting not to farm the charge, but instead take down Deadly Pants, if at all possible. However, the Graviton Surge was a heavy investment for little gain back. They did get out the sound barrier, but it's going to be entirely up to Deadeye on the fact that they win this fight.
And that they will, folks. And again, Ghostly now going to go over to the Moira, which we haven't seen yet. Nax going to get that pick onto Pigeon. Tactical Visor is going to be online, as this is Death Blossom's chance to really take advantage with this ult advantage they're going to have.
Slash Castle has to roll away there as Wawa Gaming's DPS come through with their ults of their own. Obviously going to be looking through it, but that Pulse Bomb, the only real consistent target is going to be that Soldier 76, who's going to drop down the Tactical Visor, and Mirage is way too happy to take advantage of that Genji. Nax going through the motions here, just dropping bodies left and right, or helping with them, definitely. And there is the Nax 6-7.
You knew it was coming. We got the picture perfect on camera. Again, it was very well played. Great position for Nax to be able to take. And Deadeye was still able to hold on to that Death Blossom, as well as we see the swap coming in from Slash Castle. They're getting off the Wrecking Ball, realizing that it's kind of hit its wall, and now they're going to go over to the Ram composition, which can match up pretty well into the Zarya, but you got to be careful about how much damage you take in the Death Blossom.
I mean, Slash Castle, by the time they got to that engagement, was already half HP. They did not have an opportunity there, Ray.
No, they didn't have a second to breathe, and now they're going to go over to the Reinhardt, trying to take a page out of Death Blossom's book in the past that we've seen them play quite a lot. As they're rounding up, coming up on a final cap is the Graviton Surge.
Yeah, grab comes out. Momo Monkey good for Deadeye. Mirage has no bubbles in the backline, so able to take down Pigeon, but that won't be enough here in this late fight.
Yeah, they're not able to get the cap yet, but for Wawa, there is still almost half the time left in this fight. I will say, I think we've reached Avril through him at this point, so we'll see if they can make a comeback. Ghostly will have the Coalescence for this next fight. Wawa Gaming doesn't have anything online yet, but by the time this fight really kicks off, they should have their Death Blossom. They'll likely have, I mean, not their Death Blossom, their Beat Drop, and then they'll likely have their Blade.
Well, here is the Coalescence in from Ghostly, investing very, very early here. Can't quite get back to the middle, unfortunately, and Slash Castle just gets hawked down, unfortunately, and Death Blossom return on a Reinhardt of their own and make very quick work of that fight.
Ghostly just going absolutely sicko mode on the Moira. Never thought I'd be saying that. But I mean, against the Genji too. Genji can't do anything about the Moira suck, essentially. As Tactical Visor for Nax comes out, forced out the Beat Drop.
Yeah, Nax forced all the way back, and gonna have to be up to their own aim to take care of that Lucio. getting a little bit of assistance there from Ghostly and Deadeye. Slash Castle meeting the same end as their Lucio as Nax comes through huge, returning to this fight with 2 picks. And Ray, I think that's going to be it. I think that's it. There will be a touch. There will be a touch. There will be a touch. Okay, they find a pin there onto Mirage. Momo Monkey returns. Nax with a trade. Pigeon with the OC. Slash Castle able to come through huge, beautiful pin onto Mirage. Then gets the Earth Shatter. They're not done just yet.
Able to keep their hopes alive just a little bit longer. Pigeon coming through with that overclock as we get a little bit of friendly banter there with the tactical crouching from the side of Pigeon. Beat drop available for Rai. Kitsune Rush available for Shroom. Here we go. They're going to get aggressive. They need to. They need some
sound
distance.
Barrier from the other side. And, man, it's just so brutal. Deadeye with so much damage from that Death Blossom. There's just really nothing on the side of Wawa that could have possibly helped to deny that.
They're still going to have another opportunity to stop the full cap. Not really any ults on either side. Ghostly will get a coalescence though. That might be the nail in the coffin that Death Blossom is playing for at this point. As Momo Monkey rounding possibility, but they may not need anything with Pigeon getting that pick on an axe.
Yeah, beautifully done there. Mirage does get the trade. That is absolute brutality there on the Slash Castle. Deadeye turning around, trying to take care of Pigeon. Oh my god.
Do you call that a C9?
I mean, there were only 2 players dead, Ray.
Nobody touched?
There were two players dead, Ray.
Was it 2? I thought it was 1 for 1. I thought each team traded out 1.
No, it was I think they took down Slash Castle and Momo Monkey.
Because Nax got taken down by Pigeon and then Slash Castle went down. So I thought it was 4v4. Regardless, I mean, he still could have had the touch. I'm a little surprised that it was just so sudden they're able to sneak it there at the end. But man, congratulations to Death Blossom winning in a 4-1 fashion. They are your Diamond champions.
I wanted to get some big grandstanding. They are your champions, but I couldn't. I didn't see it
happened so suddenly.
It was so fast. Yeah, like even the observers were caught off guard by it because we were well in the back line at that point. That's crazy. Yeah, no, that was after that map 2. The switch got flipped, and I mean DB were just absolute menaces on the back half of this match. Like there's just nothing that Wawa could do.
Yeah, again, it was a very well constructed series from both teams. Death Blossom, it was close on those first 2 maps. First map was close. Second map they lost and it wasn't that close. But ever since Circuit they locked in, and those final 3 maps, they let's just be honest, it was kind of a blowout on the last 3 maps. So
yeah,
again, shout outs to Death Blossom. They are your NA Diamond champions. But we are not done just quite yet, as we will be having exit and winning interviews from both of these teams. You're not going to miss this. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with that.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We've got a couple of our representatives from our runner-up here first for an exit interview. We've got a Mo Monkey and Slashed Castle, DPS tanks extraordinaire. Unfortunately, fell a little bit short here tonight, guys, but I'm still going to ask you anyway, hey, how y'all feeling about how y'all played?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm honestly, like, getting to the grand finals is kind of enough. Like, we kind of just formed, like, 6 months ago on a whim, and then we kind of just started dominating in this randomly until we played DB, but you know.
Yeah. DB's really good. I mean, all the teams in this league are really good. Honestly, like, the team 6 months ago when we first came together, we were like so weak. Literally everyone here would just beat us up for breakfast. I'm real. But
I think we take Emerald Eagles.
No, don't spread the shade like that.
Yeah, just
I can go find their apartments for you. I live in the same city.
No way. Yeah, you'll dox them for us? You're so kind.
They're a university team. It's not that hard.
Ain't no way we doxing live.
I'm not saying, hey, I'm not saying. We're not doxing anybody for real though. All right, Ray. Go ahead.
Yeah, diving into this series a little bit. I mean, the Lijiang Tower was extremely close, and then obviously you guys won Circuit Royale. And then I felt like almost, at least for Death Blossom, there was a switch flipped. I don't know. Obviously, you know, they kind of turned around after that. I mean, what do you think happened in those final 3 maps that just made it feel like a totally different series?
What were the final 3 maps? It was
New Numbani and then Saravasa and then New Queen Street.
So Numbani, we've been scrimming that, and we have never done well on it ever. So that was kind of just we were gonna lose that map. Saravasa, that comp was some AIDS. That was wild. And then New Queen Street, we just were having fun at the end.
Yeah, New Queen Street, we kind of just we kind of got snowballed. I'm gonna be real. It's just how the game works a little bit. Sometimes your mental goes down a teeny bit as a whole team, and it's just like less cohesive. But honestly, Numbani being our worst map, we tried to scrim it, but yeah, I think that's kind of where the snowball started rolling.
Yeah, fair enough. I got 2, relative. We'll see how long it takes, but 2 more questions. So one of them for me is, at least for you guys, obviously a fantastic season, 2nd place, got to be feeling very proud of yourselves. Where does Wawa Gaming go from here? Do you guys? I don't know how many of you guys have to move up, stay, blah blah blah. But what do we expect from Wawa Gaming?
I think our whole team basically has to move up, like by ranking rules. I think everyone, maybe besides one person, has hit Masters in the last season. So I think we have to move up to Masters tier.
I'm not entirely sure that we are still going to be doing like competitive, because we are students and we're getting to like serious classes now and like looking into jobs and stuff. So
we don't know exactly the future of our team at this point. We might be still here. I personally hope that we're still here.
Same.
But we'll see how it goes forward.
Gotcha. And then we still hitting up Wawa today or tomorrow?
All right, be the Gobbler.
It already happened, man.
Oh, it already happened?
Yeah. I missed the Gobbler.
The Gobbler being gone is what lost us this game. I'll tell you the truth here.
Yeah.
R.I.P. the Gobbler.
Rip the Gobbler. I don't know what that means. I don't
How dare you not know the Gobbler, dude? Come on. Lock in.
My fault, gang.
It's a Thanksgiving sandwich. It's like everything that you want from Thanksgiving and a sandwich, and it's peak.
Yeah, mashed potatoes, turkey, cranberry sauce,
I'm not gonna lie, that sounds awful.
It's amazing.
I hate all of that except for the mashed potatoes.
Hold up. You don't like turkey?
No, I've never liked turkey.
Insane.
I've always been a honey ham on Thanksgiving kind of guy. But now I'm gonna leave you with that thought of me disliking turkey with some final thoughts. Slash Castle, Momo Monkey, before we send y'all out here to go, cry about your Wawa or whatever. Is there anything that you'd like to bring up that maybe we did not, or any shout outs that you would like to make?
I would like to shout out the Gobbler from Wawa. And I'd also like to shout out Korn, our support, who unfortunately didn't get to play. It is his birthday today.
Yes, it is his birthday.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
You get to watch them lose. Yay!
We failed him on his birthday, man.
All right, guys. Well, incredible season here. We wish y'all the best of luck moving forward with whatever that might be.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. This was a really fun tournament.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, GG's, hope to see you guys next season.
Same.
All right. All right, Ray. Runner-ups down. Our champions to go. Welcome in Ghostly and Tool from the side of Death Blossom. Our champions here, undefeated this season. Incredible job tonight, guys. How y'all feeling?
I mean, I feel great. I don't know how you feel, CJ, but
I'm on the caffeine crash right now, low key. I'm feeling pretty good otherwise.
This man hits consistently 260 milligrams of caffeine.
No.
Every game.
I'm on 360, 400 right now.
Okay. I don't go that far. I hit pretty close to 260 myself today. I was at like 240, I think.
I've hit
however much is in an Alani plus a Dr. Pepper. All right, Ray, you want to take it away?
Oh, I was just going to ask an opening. Okay. I mean, for you guys, I mean, obviously I play for the org for you guys' Plat team. I mean, I'm very familiar with a lot of you guys. You know, you kind of mentioned.
I just made the connection.
You guys are feeling good about. You guys are feeling good about the matchup coming in, but I mean, I did see in the server that you guys are like, if this goes 5, we're cooked. I mean, what happened there on circuit?
I mean, we kind of just didn't play great on circuit, if I'm being honest with you. Once again, we started out the series slow, kind of like we did against Shelby's. But this time we found ourselves 1-1 instead of 2-0, so it's okay. I don't know if you have any other thoughts, CJ.
No, I forgot how to play Freya, quite honestly. And so
I mean, they did kill her though. To be fair, they killed her. To be fair, so
the ground is threatened by my presence, not even the other 5 people I'm facing.
Oh man, okay, and then this one's a little bit more targeted toward Tool and how things have gone this season. You know, obviously you're the coach for them, but what I kind of noticed, if I'm not mistaken, every single player on your roster played today. You know, the fact that, you know, you're able to make something like that happen and have all these different kinds of set comps on different maps and stuff. You know, what's the idea behind all that, and how does that make you feel as a coach, working out so well?
So, all the people that did show up today did play. I mean, I guess technically Jack didn't play, but he was there for like a couple maps, but he also didn't want to come in because he hasn't been there for a while. But, and then Wabi wasn't also here today either. But shout out to everybody that's on our roster. I just make sure everybody's ready no matter what the situation is. You could ask every single one of my players on the team. I'll put the most random 5 people in a scrim to make sure that we know how to play with that random 5 if it ever comes to it, because you never know what's going to happen with sickness, barring, obviously, you know what I mean? You just never know what's going to happen, so I've always prided myself on making sure that everybody's ready, and huge shout out to Onion to coming in on Lifeweaver and doing his thing.
Hell yeah. Then, final question. Final question I'll ask for both of you. I mean, I asked this to a lot of the teams on, you know, whether it's an exit interview or winner interview. What's the future for Death Blossom, and where do you guys see things going for future seasons of CGL?
Obviously we'll be moving up to Masters tier. Little uncertain exactly how roster construction will work, but that will be something we figured out. But yeah, I'm just gonna be moving up, and I'm assuming CJ's coming with us, unless he hates me enough to leave, which he might.
Yeah, you're funny. Yeah, I'm coming. Don't worry.
There we go. You heard it here first. He's coming with us.
Hey, well, I mean, for now, an incredibly well-fought grand final, well-fought season by Death Blossom in general. Just an incredible one for the record books. But for now, Ghostly and Tool, before we send y'all away to go celebrate y'all's grand finals victory. Any shout outs you'd like to make? Anything you'd like to bring up that maybe we did not?
I'll let CJ go first.
I'm gonna steal this from Tool. Just shout out the team. I mean, I think it's pretty common knowledge that Raj and I weren't on the team in the first place, but yeah, I mean, we came in, it was kind of felt more like a family at the same time. We knew when to lock in. Still joke around, but when it got down to when we needed to, we could lock in. Shout out Ghost too. He was in our VC a little bit beforehand, just sharing some kind words. I teamed with him in the past. I made 2 grand finals with him and lost, so it was pretty cool to have him in the VC beforehand, just to go out and play. But yeah.
I guess I'll just give my normal shout out. Shout out to my wifey and my friend Pancakes, who always support. I guess I can't really shout out the team, took that one for me. Shout out to the production and CGL as a whole, because you guys do a lot over here and it makes it really fun.
So one thing we did want to say before we go ahead and let you guys go celebrate is we did pick an MVP for the finals, and we did land on Mirage as the MVP for the grand finals of the Diamond. So you can go celebrate that with him, but that is who we chose.
Cool. I think everybody's the MVP on my team, but you gotta pick somebody. I suppose.
Legitimately, Tool. The conversation between me and Ray was about 30 seconds. It's like, Mirage was the only player who was in on all 5 maps.
That's fair.
So that was essentially the decision-making process for that one. Everybody played super duper well tonight, so you could make an argument for just about everybody, but Mirage was the one consistent on all 5 maps, so we just decided to give it to Mirage.
Yeah, no, of course. Well, you guys have a good night then, and thanks for casting.
Yeah, congratulations, and go celebrate your championship. Much redemption from last season.
Very much. I don't no longer have to have nightmares about 4-0. If you know, you know.
Crazy.
All right. Thank y'all, and congratulations once again. All right, Ray. That was a very interesting series. A lot of interesting twists and turns. I did not expect a Roadhog Lifeweaver composition, let alone one played well. But it was Death Blossom's tournament to lose at this point. They were the heavy favorites from early in the season to the mid-season championship, where they took that one to the postseason, where they still continued to look like their dominant selves. Death Blossom was always the favorite, and they proved it here tonight. They were dominant. The first couple were close, but they slammed the door in Wawa's hopes on those last 3 maps and made sure that we knew who the best team in this tournament was.
I was going to say, because I casted the South America Grand Finals, and we were going to, one of the teams was dominating all season and then lost in Grand Finals, and I was going to say that was the most dominant season we'd ever seen in CGL, but I actually could make an argument that this Death Blossom season is probably that. They didn't lose a single match all season. And thinking about it, I think they lost maybe 5 or 6 total maps all season, maybe even less than that.
I think we have seen one golden season before in the Diamond tier. I don't know if I'm almost certain that
it's definitely up there.
90%. Right? No, this is definitely top 3 from Death Blossom here. They had a spectacular season. Little more than some bruises here and there, right? Some close games, but they were never truly out of any game that they ever played. They were down 2-0 in their winners final match against Shelby's team, and they survived that. So big props to Death Blossom for being that team that everybody can say, hey, they were the best. And you know what I can even say about that, Ray, is that this team didn't feel unfair. There have been times where teams felt like they did not belong where they were at, but Death Blossom was rightly so a diamond team to be feared this season.
Yeah, so huge congrats to Death Blossom. So that's going to wrap things up for us tonight. Keep in mind, we have 2 grand finals happening tomorrow, which is the EU Open Grand Finals and the EU Masters Grand Finals happening at the same time tomorrow, 2 p.m. EST. So make sure you guys tune into that and don't miss it. And then our final grand final of the season is going to be Friday night. The NA Masters will wrap things up at 8 p.m. EST. And yeah, so thanks to all of you watching in the chat, and thanks to Headrammer and Mara behind the scenes prodding and observing. We couldn't do what we do if it wasn't for you, and thank you, Fledge, for joining me on the cast. We will see you guys at a future broadcast. See you guys later.